She's off. The corner shop is in sight. The National Lottery sign is there, and she's heading right for it. Look at Rebecca. She's making a real difference just by playing the National Lottery. Her numbers help fund Team GB and Paralympics GB athletes, powering their journey to Paris, one ticket at a time. Oh, just look at her go! Unbelievable stuff! Changing lives like it's a walk to the shops.
The National Lottery, changing lives every day. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant that understands natural language so you can get straight to what you need.
Copilot, draft emails to chase unpaid invoices.
So, if you're a baker, like Diana, it could mean spending more time on what really matters. That's more carrot cake she can bake. Small businesses could save 4 days a month on financial admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Luker's Land Rover. Looking to sell your Land Rover? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard on a big day, a big weekend of League Cup action. Holders Rangers take on St Johnstone at Hampden later, looking to bounce back from midweek disappointment. Before that, plenty of entertaining games, including Dundee against Airdrie, Falkirk, Hearts, and then the rest join in tomorrow. Celtic taking on Hibs. The European representatives from Thursday, Kilmarnock and St Mirren get involved as well. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me this afternoon you have Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
Intriguing games among our feature matches. Falkirk Hearts might even lay claim to be game of the day. However, when they end, the drama begins, because will Philippe Clement pick a team that meets with the Rangers fans' approval as they prepare to defend the only trophy in the cabinet at Ibrox? And will the fans turn up at Hampden ready to express their disapproval over the way the club is going? We had a fan last night on Super Scoreboard who said that the remainder of the season meant there was no hope for Rangers. What a big day for Clement and that team.
Yeah, the League Cup's taken on a strange format in recent years, where the group stages are played in pre-season and then the next round is played in week 3 of the season. I wonder if some of these teams would just like to get on with their league season, but it throws up some intriguing fixtures, and on paper some of them look simple. Aberdeen, Queen's Park, you think are simple, and then Dundee, Airdrie, Falkirk Hearts, a good one, Spartans, Ross County, Celtic, Hibs tomorrow. But Hugh's right, that Rangers St Johnstone one, certainly intriguing. Usually it would be an easy win for Rangers, but the place that they're in at the minute, at Hampden, nothing's a certainty.
When you talk about cup football, you always look for a cup shock, and I think we'll get one somewhere today round about the grounds. And also, if you look down the leagues as well, in the Championship and further down, a lot of good football, a lot of good entertainment this afternoon.
I'll get you to pick your shock a bit later on, but Hugh, I think what's so fascinating about this cup is cup football is self-explanatory. The jeopardy is you can go out of the cup, and that in itself is a failure. But when it comes at this stage in the season, it's so linked to everything else that's going on. If Rangers were to go out this afternoon, that's way more than just going out a cup. It's Hampden, it's Kiev, it's signings, it's Philippe Clement, it's everything. If Dundee were to go out at home to Airdrie, you've got the shock. Does it derail your start to the league season? When Celtic get involved, everyone's expecting them to go through. They didn't at this stage last season. It's about what it can do for you at this stage of the season, positive and negative.
The bigger they come, the harder they fall. And at the moment, the post-mortem still goes on after Rangers Dynamo Kiev. There's no point in focusing on a red card that shouldn't have been a red card. The fact of the matter is that Rangers' exit from the Champions League qualifiers meant a dramatic financial loss, and Philippe Clement has referenced that fact with the transfer window now a couple of weeks away from closing. So for Rangers not to beat St Johnstone would be unthinkable. It would put pressure on Clement, who has lost, for the most part, I think, the trust of the Rangers fans. He cannot afford to lose that game. Now, St Johnstone went to Kilmarnock last weekend and wiped the floor with them. I know that it was 11v10 for most of the game. However, they have strikers who can give Rangers a bit of a problem, and it's the external factors today that are important. The game is not on the Rangers fans' season ticket book. Therefore, the attendance will be substantially lower than it was last weekend for the league game against Motherwell. Factor in the disappointment that followed the Kiev result, and the Rangers fans are going there, allegedly some of a mind to protest over what's going on at Ibrox, but they're going there in a state of near despair. Defeat is unthinkable.
It's not just about that game, Mark, just in a general sense. The brilliant thing about the format and the way we do it is it brings an awful lot of pressure, and you're not even out of mid-August.
Well, it certainly does, and for those bigger sides that are facing teams further down the divisions, of course that brings its own pressure. And you know, this cup competition comes around pretty quickly, but everybody wants to be there involved in the latter stages at Hampden, and to do that you need to negotiate these ties well. Now, as I said, that Aberdeen Queen's Park, on paper, the way Aberdeen started, the way Queen's Park, you think that's a formality. Dundee Airdrie will be an interesting one. I don't know what you're getting with Airdrie at the minute. They play lovely football, and we've seen them score 8 against East Kilbride, and they look good in the eye, but we've seen them get absolutely walloped for Ayr United as well, and Dundee look pretty good as well, so that'll be an interesting game. But Falkirk Hearts is the intriguing one. Hearts, I thought, looked good against Rangers on the opening day. They were so poor away from home at Dens last week, and Falkirk have started brilliantly.
Well, let's go round them then. Let's start with, you could take your pick really. Let's go Falkirk Hearts. Fraser Wishart is there.
Yeah, Mark Wilson set it up beautifully for me there, Gordon, because I think this is a tricky one for Hearts today. The League Cup, of course, is one of their best chances of winning a trophy, but they're up against a Falkirk team who are absolutely flying so far this season. And as Mark was saying, after a good performance versus Rangers on the opening day, Hearts followed up a poor performance and result at Dens Park last Sunday. Stephen Naismith in his pre-match media admitting he made mistakes. He wouldn't elaborate. Hearts fans were certainly questioning the change of formation and personnel after the Rangers game, and Stephen has shuffled his pack again today. There's 8 changes to the team, and back to a back 4 with their depth of squad. It's still a strong lineup. It's like another first team, and I think he would love a comfortable victory before the vital European League qualifier next Thursday. But I think we all know that any kind of win won't come easy against Falkirk for Hearts today. I saw Falkirk beat Dunfermline away last weekend, and you just get a sense of something good happening at this club. On the field it's been really good. Off the field, the supporters getting right behind the team, and they have players who played at a Premier level and are actually want to show themselves against the bigger teams. And after an unbeaten league season in 23-24, the confidence momentum has just continued into this season. Former Hearts winger Callum Morrison's one of their real threats, and he'll want to prove himself against his old team. And striker Ross McIver signing a new contract in midweek, so they'll be flying, and I think the whole Falkirk team will be so looking forward to this game here. Virtually a full house at Falkirk Stadium. The atmosphere will be terrific, and really looking forward to what I think will be a cracking 90 minutes. No surprises to the Falkirk lineup, unchanged for the third game in succession. 4-2-3-1 formation. Nicky Hogarth is in goals. Back 4, Keelan Adams, Col Donaldson, Liam Henderson and Sean Mackey. 2 in midfielder, Brad Spencer and Dylan Tate, with Callum Morrison, Gary Oliver and Calvin Miller behind at the striker Ross McIver. The subs for Falkirk: Owen Hayward, Finn Yates, Liam McCann, Alfredo Aguiman, Ryan Shanley, Logan Sinclair, Flynn McCafferty and Caelan Drone. For Hearts, I said earlier, there's 8 changes. Out go Clark, Oyegoke, Kent, Rowles, Devlin, Grant, Shankland and Mackay, and in come Gordon, Halkett, Kingsley, Spittle, Boateng, Oda, Boyce and Danda. And back to their favoured 4-2-3-1 formation. Craig Gordon's in goals, Gerard Taylor, Craig Halkett, Stephen Kingsley and James Penrice at the back. Blair Spittle and Malachi Boateng will be in midfield, with Yutara Odo, Liam Boyce and Jan Danda behind the main striker Kenny Vargas. Subs for Hearts: Xander Clark, Daniel Oyegoke, George Grant, Lon Shankland, Barry Mackay, Cammy Devlin, Kai Rowles, Alan Forrest and Musa Drami. And the referee today with no VAR is David Dickinson.
It's just on paper at this point, Fraser, because there was a disappointing result last week, so let's not go overboard with our praise of Hearts. But just listening to that team, if that's some sort of second string rotated reserve team from Hearts, is absolutely full. Every single one of them recognisable players that could be in the starting 11. So, like I say, to repeat, it's on paper just now, but that looks like incredible depth this season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Stephen Naismith can complain about the backing he got over the summertime and over the last couple of years from his board. You know, they signed 9 players over the summer and signed Salvador, the left back as well, who's not in this squad, and it's packed full of international players like Craig Gordon and Stephen Kingsley have played international football. Craig Halk's been in the Scotland squad. You've got Liam Boyce, who's played for Ireland. Kenny Vargas is playing for Costa Rica. Jan Danda as well, to get lots of experience at this level. But with that comes a wee bit of pressure, and they didn't have a good pre-season. They lost at home to Orient, a heavy defeat at home to Spurs, lost to Fleetwood away as well. So you add into the 2 league games as well. There's been 5 games without a win. Now, I don't count the pre-season games. I don't think they should count, but I'm not a Hearts supporter, and defeat today would again have people saying what's going on, because there's plenty of depth to the squad, as you say, Gordon. Plenty of good players, probably not even stripped, or not even in the 2022 names that are around the first team squad as well. So they've got to get a victory today. I think they will. I think it'll be hard fought. I think there'll be a few goals today as well for me here, but I think they'll do it by the odd goal. But a fascinating 90 minutes ahead, because Falkirk are good. Falkirk have got players who are better than the League One standard, certainly Championship and above standard, and they're just absolutely flying. There's just a momentum here that John McGlynn's got going. So I'm looking forward to a great 90 minutes. Real test for Hearts, but I think they'll get there in the end by the odd goal. Yeah, really looking forward to that one. Let's keep going then. There are a few of these Premiership versus Championship games. Will we see shocks in any of them? Another one that ticks that box is Dundee against Airdrie, and Roger Hannah is there.
Yeah, it's been quite the start for Dundee again this season, Gordon. 25 goals in their 6 games. They had a perfect record through the Premier Sports Cup group stage. It twice came from behind for that derby draw at Tannadice. I know you were there in the opening weekend of the season, and of course they beat Hearts 3-1 here with a bit of style last Saturday. Tony Docherty's men, the Villages, picked up where they left off last season with that top 6 finish. There's 6 new recruits in the summer, 3 start today, and they've even transformed what was a very dodgy den surface last season into a pristine bowling green here. It's the best regrowth I've seen since Andy Halliday came back from Turkey. They've managed to keep hold of Luke McCown so far, in spite of that interest from Celtic, Hibs and Bolton, and they only make one change today, and that's in goal. It looks as if Trevor Carson is going to be the cup keeper for Tony Docherty this season. So Trevor Carson in goals, the same back 4 that played against Hearts: Ethan Ingram, Antonio Portales, Jordan McGee and Ziad Larkesh. Midfield, Lyle Cameron and Mo Silla, along with the man in demand McCowan, and it's a front 3 of Seb Palmer Holden, Simon Murray and Scott Tiffany. On the bench, McCracken, Sharp, Astley, Main, Robertson, Graham and Lockhead. Well, as for Airdrie, they've been going well. 4 wins in that narrow 2-1 defeat at Aberdeen. That was until that 5-0 hammering at Ayr United that Mark mentioned there last Friday night. Rhys McCabe signed 13 in the summer after reaching the promotion playoffs last term. He scored a last minute penalty winner against Dundee in last season's Premier Sports Cup. He makes 6 changes today, and he recalls himself to the starting lineup. We think it may be a more defensive Airdrie side today. It looks as if it's going to be Kieran Wright on loan from Rangers in goal. You think it might be a back 5: Cameron Bruce, Dylan McDonald, Rhys McCabe, Murray Aiken and Mason Hancock. Midfield, Terrell Agyemang, Dean McMaster, Adam Frizzell the skipper and Gavin Gallagher, with up front on form Ben Wilson. On the bench, Johnson, Reid, Watson, McGrattan, Cooper, Mochrie, Armstrong and Taylor Sinclair. McCabe of course eager to avenge a 6-2 Scottish Cup defeat here 2 years ago. He took the Dark Blues all the way to extra time, went down to 10 men and then lost 4 goals in the additional half hour. I covered the game for Sky, for SuperScoreBoard I should say, Gordon, and I was late for my curry. So let's not have any repeat. Let's get it done inside 90 minutes. Thanks very much.
I do wonder, Roger, if the cup competitions are something that Tony Docherty's really looking at this season. You know, now that they're back in the Premiership, very good in the Premiership last season, the early signs are good. Add into that bit that fans really get obsessed with. It's a long old time since Dundee won either cup competition. The Scottish Cup so long ago, even Hugh Keevins can't remember it, and even the League Cup, you're going back to the early 70s. So I just wonder how a trip to Hampden features on Tony Docherty's list of priorities this season.
Yeah, when I was reading up on some of the stuff last night, Gordon, I actually stumbled upon a couple of tweets from Dundee fans just along those lines. You know, 1910, the last Scottish Cup win, 1973, Tommy Gemmell and all that, the last League Cup win. They haven't even been to a Hampden final since Jim Duffy took them to the Scottish Cup final 21 years ago when they lost to Rangers at Hampden. The Dundee fans want a cup run. They want back to Hampden for semi-finals and finals, and I think Tony Docherty appreciates what it would mean to the Dundee support here. Hence, a very strong Dundee side this afternoon.
Yeah, so much to look forward to in that fixture. Let's keep going round the grounds. Another one, Premiership versus Championship, is for Dave Galloway. Aberdeen against Queen's Park.
Yeah, so Aberdeen are beginning life without talismanic striker Bojan Mijovski, Gordon, after his club record move to La Liga and Champions League football with Girona. The search for his replacement is, of course, ongoing, but Jimmy Tillene's challenging his other forwards to grab the opportunity they've been given. Mijovski only started one of the Dons' 6 games so far this season and came off the bench twice, but they've got a 100% record, and the likes of Esther Sockler and Papi Gay have shown flashes at least of what they can do. And Finnish winger Topi Keskinen arrived this week. He is on the bench. Queen's Park visiting Pittodrie for the first time, incidentally, in 51 years. Come here with nothing to lose, and for boss Callum Davidson, the aim is for his men to put in a performance which quietens the home crowd, then see where it takes them. And as always, as it's the Cup, you just never know. The Spiders caused a huge upset the last time they met Aberdeen. That was back in 2006 at Hampden. They won the League Cup tie on penalties, 5-3 on the spot kicks thereafter, a 0-0 draw. Let's take a look at the teams then. Just the one change for Aberdeen. In comes young Jack Milne. Out goes Slobodan Rubezic. So it's Dimitar Mitov in goals. A back four for the Dons of Nicky Devlin, Jack Milne, Gavin Malloy and Jack McKenzie. The sitting midfielders Silvert, Heltney Nielsen and Graham Shinney. Further forward, Shaden Morris on the right, Jamie McGrath on the left, with Papi Habib Gay sitting behind the main striker Esther Sockler. The subs for the Dons: Doohan, Jensen, McGarry, Bizawin, Palaversa, McDonald, Ambrose, Babbage and the aforementioned Keskinen. As for Queen's Park, well, 3 changes for them. In come Nicola Ujdur, Jack Thompson and Dane Murray. Out drop Zach Mochin, Mackenzie Kars and Roddy McGregor. So Callum Ferry in goals. It's a back 3 of Cammy Kerr, Dane Murray and Nicola Ujdur. Midfield 5 by the looks of things: Louis Longridge, Jack Turner, Sean Welsh, Jack Thompson and Josh Scott, with a front 2 for Queens of Zach Rudden and Dom Thomas. The subs: Wills, McGregor, McLeish, Hines, Connolly, McDonnell, Mackenzie, McGinley and Fieldson. The match referee today here at Pittodrie is Colin Stephen, and there is no VAR.
Well, that should be a bit more enjoyable for those of you who are not into that sort of thing. Where else have we yet to go? The lowest ranked team in the competition. Is there a fairy tale on here? The Spartans against Ross County. David Friel's there.
You know what, Gordon, I wonder if there is a fairy tale on here. It's quite quiet, it's quite calm at Ainsley Park. A first ever visit for myself. I think it's a first ever visit for Radio Clyde here, but I think there's a quiet confidence about this Spartans team. As you said, they're the lowest ranked team in the competition, remaining in the League 2, but they did come through a pretty tough group with Livingston and Dunfermline. And they're always strong here at Ainsley Park. They beat Dundee United here last year. Remember, in the Scottish Cup, Hearts needed an injury time goal. Frankie Kent got it to get through. So I would never ever write off Dougie Samuel. He's got a really good thing going here. He's in his 13th year at the club. It's a community club in every sense. They've got good players, good young talent. And when you look through the squad and the starting lineup, there's a lot of recognisable names. Paul Watson, James Craig and Callum Booth won this competition with St Johnstone 2021. And then they've got the goal machine up front, Blair Henderson. They've always got a chance with him. He's an accountant off the pitch and his numbers are very good on it as well. He's got over 100 SPFL career goals. He's got over 160 in total if you take in his goals in the lower leagues before that, and he's also got 4 already this season. He's in form and I think he'll be looking to cause Ross County trouble today. As for County though, I think Don Cowie was a really sensible appointment. He steadied the ship and they'll be coming here full of confidence. They've got a perfect group stage in the Premier Sports Cup, 4 wins out of 4. They've started with 2 draws in the Premiership. Maybe wanted a wee bit more, but they've been pretty solid so far. They did lose Simon Murray and a few others, guys like Jack Baldwin, but I think in attack Ronan Hale already looks apart. I think he's going to be a major threat for Spartans today. As I said, it was a sensible appointment after the Derek Adams mayhem last season. I think Don Cowie has his eyes on a long Hampden run. I'll just run through the teams for you. Spartans line up: Jack Serity in goals. A back four of Kieran Watson, Ayrton Sonkour, Paul Watson and Callum Booth. Midfield three of James Cragen, Lewis Hunter and Bradley White, with Jamie Dishington, Blair Henderson and Cammy Russell in attack. Subs for the Spartans are Carswell, Ingalls, Scott, Denham, Lamont, Wiley, Walls and Whittaker. As for Ross County, it'll be Ross Laidlaw in goals, a back four of James Brown, Ryan Leake, Will Nightingale and George Harmon. Aidan Denham, Connor Randall and Victor Latour will be midfield three, with Noah Chilvers in behind Jordan White and Ronan Hale. Subs for County are Ross, Greaves, Telfer, Samuel, Brophy, McLeod, Robiston and Reid. The referee at Ainsley Park is Dan McFarlane.
Lots to look forward to there as well. If there is to be a fairy tale, maybe that is the one. The lowest ranked team, the Spartans, taking on Premiership opposition in Ross County. Of course, Rangers St Johnstone is still to come later, and at this stage on a Saturday we generally pause for some kind reflection on the weekend's biggest talking points. We'll do that next. Clyde One Super Scoreboard is brought to you by NordVPN. Let's be honest, we all want to enjoy a more private and secure internet, especially Gordon Dalziel, while having access to more content from around the world. With just one click, NordVPN can switch your virtual location to a country showing your favourite team whose game isn't being televised at home, so you don't have to miss out. Not only can you virtually teleport your devices around the world, but you can also block malicious websites and stop web trackers, giving you great peace of mind. One NordVPN account now covers 10 devices, so to get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/Super Scoreboard. This link will give you 4 extra months on their 2-year plan. We've added the link to the podcast description as well. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Terms and conditions apply, and check streaming service terms before use. Honestly, you'll be in safe hands. Think of it like Neuer, Alisson, Donnarumma, Buffon. Safe hands indeed. Now, right, let's get back to the podcast.
And she's off. The corner shop is in sight. The National Lottery sign is there, and she's heading right for it. Look at Rebecca. She's making a real difference just by playing the National Lottery. Her numbers help fund Team GB and Paralympics GB athletes, powering their journey to Paris, one ticket at a time. Oh, just look at her go. Unbelievable stuff. Changing lives like it's a walk to the shops.
The National Lottery, changing lives every day. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant that automates tasks to keep your business running smoothly.
Copilot, help me pay my suppliers this week.
So, if you're a barber like Alfie, it could mean spending more time on what really matters, like more back and sides for his customers.
Oh, perfect. Cheers, Alfie.
Small businesses could save 4 days a month on financial admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow.
This season, stream Sky Sports on Now.
Players are ready, and now we're off. What a nutmeg! Now he must score!
Now how has he missed that? Now that was defo a pen!
Now the ref's got to send him off! Now that must be the match winner.
Head to nowtv.com and stream Sky Sports with no contract.
Now that is world class.
18 plus, UK only, 6 months saver option also available.
Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. The top team are round the grounds. One of those weekends we are jealous of them getting to go out and see the action this afternoon because it's League Cup day, and who knows what we'll have in store. We've given you the teams already, we've been round the grounds, and we will do it again, but let's speak more generally and get the guys involved on some of the week's biggest talking points. I can just almost sense the enthusiasm from you, Roger Hannah, just desperate to talk about the very latest in a long line of instalments on Old Firm ticket allocations. Would you like to take it away?
Rangers fans don't get any tickets for Celtic Park on September the 1st. Celtic fans don't get any tickets for the Rangers home game on the 2nd of January. And after that, the SPFL say they have to give an allocation of 5% for the 3rd and 4th Old Firm derbies of this season. Brendan Rodgers raised the stakes yesterday, Gordon, by lumping all of the blame for this shambles onto Rangers. Rangers have yet to respond. I'm sure they will. They like a statement, and that is where we are.
Yeah, I mean, Fraser Wisher, it's good to know that we don't even need to wait till we're out of August to focus on the politics and the drama of Scottish football. Forget the on-field nonsense. We've got a lot to keep us entertained.
Easy, change the rules. change the rules, make sure there's an absolute minimum in the rules that people have to offer, and then you're not leaving it up to clubs to get involved in who gets what. And but they won't do that. I've said many times before, the problem with one of the problems with our game, the governance, is that the clubs make their own rules. There's no checks or balances. Nobody's really coming up with any new ideas. It's just left up to the clubs to make their own rules, and when they do so, they just don't like rules that don't suit them. So easy solution, have it in the rules. A bit like I think UEFA would have for their competitions. There must be a minimum amount for each game. Then you're not leaving it up to clubs to make their own decisions. It's just a bit sad it's come up again at a time when we're looking forward to the Old Firm game in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be a big occasion for Scottish football. But again, it's going to be live on television and no away supporters, and it does take away from it. Those of us who played in Old Firm games when the away team, when I was playing at Ibrox, and Celtic had the whole of the away stand. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But those days are long gone now. So it's there should be rules in place. That's the simplest thing. Then clubs can't just do their own thing.
Well, here's the thing, Roger, because it maybe wasn't a hard fast rule, but the difference in this latest episode of this ongoing saga is we thought there was an agreement or a 5% sort of cut-off point, but Celtic say they've done the work. They say Rangers haven't given them suitable guarantees that they can do the same for the fixture, so we've gone back on it.
Yeah, very much so. As Fraser says, the only way to solve this is to have a hard and fast rule that the league is willing to make robust and stick to. It's almost as if the people in the sixth floor at Hampden are scared to take on Celtic and Rangers, Gordon. There should be a rule. Fraser's correct. Whether it's a 5%, whether it's 7%, whether it's something that can be flexible due to segregation, etc., but it doesn't shine a very flattering light on Scottish football. This is the blue ribboned event in the Scottish football calendar. It is watched around the globe. We know Sky Sports, the broadcast partners of the SPFL, are unhappy that away supporters are not getting into the games. It is petty, it is silly, and it's about time the SPFL had a bit of backbone to bring in a rule and make it enforceable.
The club's job is to protect the support, and if there's not that guarantee that come the second fixture, I think it's only logical that you wouldn't reciprocate. Celtic have played their part in what they were asked to do, and again, I go back, nothing of this was Celtic's issue, nothing. When you go back to when this all started, it's nothing to do with Celtic. Celtic gets dragged into this here as being a Celtic Rangers thing. It's not a Celtic Rangers thing. This is a Rangers thing. So Celtic, when even they're asked to and have this agreement to make the stadium safe and everything else, we plough money into that. We do the works, which started months ago. On both parties, it hasn't been agreed. So it's not complicated. It hasn't been done. For good faith, whatever way you want to put it, there's still an agreement for both, right? So it's not done. It's not great faith. If we allow Rangers supporters in, then we get to January and our own supporters can't get in. It's not good faith. I think that the agreement hasn't been upheld, so Celtic rightly have to defend their supporters and their club, and sadly, as I said, the Rangers supporters miss out on this game and Celtic in the return game. But let's hope that after that we can then find a way to get the supporters in.
Not that this is the way to measure everything, David Friel, but we stuck that clip of Brendan Rodgers on the Super Scoreboard Twitter feed yesterday, and it's been viewed well over 600,000 times. It was box office stuff from Brendan Rodgers. The Celtic fans loved it. Maybe some of the Rangers fans wanted to argue with it, but clearly he's keen to probably move away from what we just did in the first few minutes of this conversation, where we take a very general, broad brush approach to it and say, they're both petty, they both need to get their act together. He was quite keen to point out that it's a bit more specific than that as far as he sees it.
It was strong stuff, Gordon. As you said, box office. I think, we're going over old ground, but I think in terms of Brendan Rodgers saying Rangers started it all, I mean, that's going way back to when Rangers cut the allocation. I think Stephen Gerrard was the manager, so I think for a bit of analogy, I think what Brendan Rodgers is referring to is Rangers threw the first punch in terms of the ticket allocations, but we're probably in the 100th chapter since then. In terms of this one, it basically comes down to Celtic not feeling that they've got a guarantee that the security arrangements are going to be in place. Now, Rangers will say it's 5 months away till that game. Rangers have got more pressing concerns in terms of the stadium instead of that. But my only hope out the whole thing is this is just purely a consequence of the Rangers stadium problems, and that come March, when the derby will resume after that there will be away fans, because I don't think anybody can really handle years and years of rancour and disagreement over these ticket stories.
like to think so, Hugh, and I know we are cynical and I know we tend to fear the worst, but this does feel a bit different in that Celtic, they've taken practical steps. They've been done building work and reconfigured turnstiles and whatever it is, so it does look like there is a desire there. Is David right? Is this all going to be eventually fixed when Rangers get back into Ibrox and things get moved along for the fixtures in the new year?
For me, the logic of Celtic's case is undeniable. They cannot tell if Ibrox will be ready for the game with Celtic at the beginning of January. John Bennett, the Rangers chairman, doesn't know when Rangers are going back to Ibrox. Otherwise, he would have a shiny big press conference and tell everyone, particularly the Rangers supporters who are distressed by having to use the National Stadium. So while there is absolutely no knowledge whatsoever of when Rangers return to Ibrox, Celtic are saying, well, in that case, we'll keep things as they are for the game at Celtic Park on the 1st of September. And on the subject of what does and does not reflect well on Scottish football, the fact that these measures were reported to include the installation of nets above people's heads so that they go to a football match and avoid physical scarring, or worse, that reflects badly in Scottish football.
Do you not think it reflects badly, though, still, that Brendan Rodgers is there saying that the works have been done by Celtic and the stadium's ready for Rangers fans to be in there, and they're still being petty and not just allowing it to happen?
Well, because
but that's what he's trying to explain there.
But still, there's an opportunity here for Celtic to be the grown-ups and take the moral high ground in this and say, fine, you've not got your house in order, we've done our job, and have enough confidence in your team that you have enough in the pitch to beat Rangers, even if they've got 2,500 fans in.
Brendan Rodgers said what he said yesterday, and in the robust manner in which he said it, because he knows it plays well with the Celtic fans. The Celtic fans think he's the top man because he expressed himself the way he did. That's a PR issue. But my logic where this is concerned is that Brendan Rodgers and Celtic have done said what they have said, because there can be no guarantee that Ibrox will be ready for the next derby after that. Therefore, Brendan Rodgers and Celtic are saying we have to stand by our supporters. If we allow Rangers fans into the ground, the supporters won't take it well, because there can be no guarantee about their safety in the next derby. So I know it's primitive, but this is Glasgow, this is the old firm, and Brendan Rodgers was standing up for Celtic yesterday.
Let's just pivot slightly to a different topic, although it's all linked, Roger Hannah, because later we will see Rangers play at Hampden, and partly because fans don't like it as much as Ibrox, maybe partly because midweek didn't go to plan. It's obviously not on season tickets. You wonder again what the Hampden factor looks like today for Rangers.
Yeah, very much so, Gordon. When you do your ACCA with the lads in the studio at 3 o'clock, you could maybe add a prediction for what the crowd will be at 5:45 at Hampden, because I think it will be shockingly low. Not on the season ticket, on television, an awkward time on a Saturday night, a disillusioned Rangers support, disillusioned by the fact that they're not in their traditional home, disillusioned by the fact that there haven't been the signings that they wanted, disillusioned by the fact they're out the Champions League and already 2 points behind Celtic. Very difficult to argue with the Rangers support if they don't go to a game like this tonight, and you begin to wonder when the pressure will build on the Rangers board for a little bit more transparency. You know, you don't need to tell us an exact date. Yes, we'll be back in such a date. They need to update the supporters of what's going on, Gordon. They need to tell the fans, because fans, they're angry, and I'm also growing aware of a group who are just apathetic to the whole thing. They're just fed up, and I think apathy is a bigger danger to any supporter group than anger is. I don't think there'll be a lot at Hampden tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Fraser, we all sort of debated this time last week about what impact does playing at Hampden have, and we were a bit split, but those who didn't think it would make much of a difference were talking about, you know, these are still good players, it's still a big pitch, it's still a good surface, all that sort of stuff. I wonder if it took until midweek for us all to realise maybe we overlooked the simple fact that once fewer people start turning up, then it really does disadvantage you.
Yeah, it's funny, I was thinking about that, Gordon, because I was one who said I don't think in the short term, if it is going to be a short term fix, that it would affect, because the players will just go on with it. But I didn't factor into the equation that Rangers would be playing a Champions League qualifier and it wouldn't be a full house, you know. And I think today there will be a smaller crowd. It's a number of factors. I think Hampden's included in that. I think the cost of football these days as well is a lot of money. It's not in a season ticket, so everybody's having to fork out more money, so it's difficult for people. And I don't think it'd be a full house if the game was at Ibrox, but it'd be interesting to see the crowd. So I think there's a host of factors, and the only thing that the Rangers players and Philip Clement can do is get a performance and get a winning performance on the park and try and get these people back to Hampden Park. But if it goes beyond September into October, November, whatever the time scale is, then I think the alarm bells might start to ring in terms of the supporters coming along to games, because that's the number one thing they have to do. If you've not got the supporters coming to the games, then that causes financial problems as well, and we know that things are tight, and Philip Clement said they're trying to get the wage bill down. So the only thing the players can do today is get a win on the board, and sometimes in football a win, and a good win, just changes the mindset and the mentality of everybody around the club. But if they don't win today, then the danger signs are there.
Yeah, well, as Fraser said, Gordon, it's probably important we don't overstate this. I think at this stage last season Rangers played Morton in the Cup at Ibrox. There wasn't 40,000 there. Football is very expensive, and if fans don't feel like they're getting good value for their money, you know, it's not a huge criticism. We're more talking about what does the move do, and ultimately is it damaging Rangers' chances of progressing in the Cup? That's the football question.
It could. If Rangers were playing St Johnstone today at Ibrox, then I think everybody would be backing them 100%. I'm not too sure. I still fancy them to win, but listen, I said on Tuesday night, Rangers gave away their advantage in one of the biggest games of the season, and I know that Hampden wasn't full the other night there. You go to Ibrox on a European night, it's completely different. As a player, Mark will tell you, it gives you so much energy, it gives you that, you know, that extra half yard, everything about it, and Rangers have showed that in the past, and I think they gave away their advantage. Playing at Hampden is an absolute shambles. I think it was Hugh that said at the top of the show, if Rangers had to lose tonight, Clement would come in for that bit of pressure. The full club will, not just the manager, everybody will carry the can, from the board to the players to the manager, everything. Rangers fans are at a boiling point, Gordon. You can tell. We get about, we speak to them, you hear what they're trying to say. They're trying to back their club, and that's what they always do. They always say they back their club, even from the 3rd division all the way up. But there's a fine line, there's a boiling point now. Rangers need a good result tonight.
I did say, Roger, we always try and talk about the kind of biggest talking points from the week. If it wasn't for the ticket update yesterday and the Brendan Rodgers stuff, it probably would have just been about European qualification action on the field in midweek. It didn't go to plan for Rangers, you know, over the 90 minutes. There's maybe no huge disgrace there. They went down to 10 men. Most people agree it was a very harsh decision, but is it all just part of a sort of bigger picture currently?
Yeah, it probably is, Gordon. I mean, Philip Clement said pre-season the squad that he had at his disposal wasn't ready for the Champions League, and they proved them right. Even without the Jeffrey red card, we have to say it was a second book, it's a terrible decision, but Rangers never led in the tie at any stage. They weren't peppering Buschan's goal at Hampden in the second leg there, so I think a drop into Europa League, it doesn't do anything to help the finances compared to the Champions League. Of course it doesn't, but I just think Rangers look more of a Europa League team than they do a Champions League team. St Mirren Thursday night lost to a quality brand side who I think second top of the Norwegian League, but you have to take your hat off to Kilmarnock. A fantastic away win in Norway. They are now just one tie away, and it'll be a difficult tie. FC Copenhagen are a good side, you know, you've seen them play before against the Old Firm. We know their quality, but Kilmarnock are one tie away from group stage football in European competition. When Derek McInnes came to the club, they were playing Queen of the South at Palmerston in the Championship. The job that Derek McInnes has done there is phenomenal.
Yes, let's park that for the meantime though, because we've got League Cup business to take care of. We've already been round the grounds and given you the teams, but we'll take a visit back to them next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Just under 15 minutes till kick-off in the 3 o'clock games in the League Cup. Of course, Rangers and St Johnstone to come a bit later, and we'll bring you team news as soon as we can. But let's keep going on the 3 o'clock matches. Go back to the Falkirk Stadium, because what a game Fraser Wishart has in his hands. And the fascinating thing about Falkirk, Fraser, is how long can they keep this feel-good factor going? There's clearly been a deliberate attempt to harness the positivity from last season, keep the continuity, keep what was good about last season, not sign loads of players, and see if that is going to be enough to make the step up. This is obviously a different challenge against Premiership opposition today.
Yeah, but when you look at their squads, Gordon Falkirk squad, it's full of players who are not League One players. Callum Morris and Calvin Miller, who was at Celtic as well. The likes of Dylan Tate's on loan from Hibs as well. Cole Donaldson, people like that as well. They've got experience of playing at a higher level, so I don't think there's a need to dramatically overhaul the squad, but it's just a momentum, it's just a feel-good factor. John McGlynn, as we all know, is a very good coach, but he's also a good guy. The players really take to him at every club he's been at, and he's been harshly treated at some of the clubs that he's managed in the past, and I think he has that way of just motivating his players. And I'm looking down here, got a lovely artificial pitch. It's good nick, it's a new one as well, and I saw Jim Duffy actually on SuperScoreBoard on the Twitter site tipping Falkirk to come straight back up, and I have to say I've always thought they'd be right up there, but of course they've got an artificial pitch if they did get promoted. But you're now talking about Falkirk perhaps being in the promotion race as well, and it's maybe because they've been down in League One for 5 years that you forget they are actually a big club, and the support here, there'll be 5,000-6,000. They've had that in the League One as well, so terrific to see a bit of success for Falkirk, and they'll really test Hearts today. I think it's going to be a fantastic 90 minutes.
How many changes was it again? Did you put a number on it for Hearts?
8. So 8 changes.
8 changes, which means there are only a couple of outfield players that have survived, and one of them is Gerald Taylor. I feel like we are partly responsible in here, Fraser, because in day one of the season we had this guy winning Player of the Year, we had him moving on and winning the Champions League next season, and then last week he came crashing back down to earth and then some with a proper all-time terrible performance. So what are we getting this week?
And an own goal as well to boot. So football does that. You have a real high and then you get a kick in the teeth as well. Looking forward to seeing him. I haven't seen him playing, but I hear good things about him. Very athletic, very mobile, gets himself forward. But you're right, in those 8 changes there's a strong team that Hearts have put out. If you put this team out without the 8 changes, you would still think it was a really good Hearts first team. So they're going to have to do the business, because Hearts have got a tough game on Thursday against Victoria Plitzen in Czech Republic. I looked at the weather and it's going to be the high 20s, so it's going to be a hot day as well. So they've got some big games coming up, and Hearts are going to need that squad, and when they get into the Europa League or Conference League stages as well, going to need this big squad. So the players today, a good performance after a poor performance by the other 8 last week. They might just cement a place in the team for the Europa League. So good squad that they've got. But looking forward to Gerald Taylor. I'll give you good reports on him, see if he's any good.
Player cam from Fraser Wishart. Roger Hannah, before you talk Dundee Airdrie, go on then, give us your Hearts Falkirk stat that you just shared with me.
Well, the 8 changes that Fraser was telling us about Craig Gordon back in goal for Hearts today. Craig Gordon played in goal in a cup tie for Hearts away to Falkirk at Brockville in 2003. It was only his second senior game. He lost 4-0 to a Colin Samuel hat-trick and a goal by Owen Coyle 21 years ago. He truly is evergreen.
And then Ian McCall got to Dundee United off the back of that win.
And
Mark
brought
Wilson
Colin Samuel as well with him,
I love Roger's stats.
How does he know that? Where's he dug that
because
from?
He's a journalist.
He doesn't get
research.
You nearly nodded off during that.
He bores the life out of me.
And Samuel for this morning's paper, Mark.
Did you?
Thanks for reading.
What's he up to?
We'll stick you down as a reader.
Oh, hold on a minute. Why don't you
yes, I read it, Roger.
Between that and Fraser Geen's a weather report, where is this programme gone?
Tell me this, remind me, among those welter of changes, is Jan Danda in the team or on the bench?
He's in the team.
Jan Danda became my player of the year day one because Jan Danda did a me. Jan Danda came out and said Hearts could win this league, and the following week they get bleached at Dundee.
They still might. I'm not sure they will, but there we go. Dundee against Airdrie. Roger Hannah again, one of these buzzwords that we use, identity, and that's something that keeps getting labelled at Airdrie because they play what lots of people consider the right way, whatever that means. Interesting to see how much they're willing and then how much they're able to stick to against a good Premiership team away from home today.
Oh, well, one guarantee I'll give you is that they will stick to it, because Rhys McCabe will make them stick to it. Even as they were going down 5-0 at Somerset Park 8 days ago, they stuck to it. I've seen Airdrie quite a bit under Rhys McCabe in the last couple of years. When it works, it can be spectacularly good. You know, I've seen them with some really good wins in the Championship after coming up from League One. They are susceptible now and again to a heavy one, and they took a heavy one down at Ayr a week past last night. He won't want the same today. It looks, as I said at the top of the show, it looks a more defensive lineup. McCabe, I think, will be in the middle of that. Well, it looks like a 5-man Diamonds defence, but they will continue to play. That's the way he wants to do it. He never deviates from it, and it should make for an attractive game, because there are plenty of ball players, as you know, in that Dundee. You know, Dundee said, look at that front six: Cameron, Silla and McCowan in midfield. Terrific players. Tiffany, who shone against Hearts last week, and Simon Murray back from Ross County, and desperate to score goals here for Dundee.
I suppose worth considering, is this the last or one of the last times Dundee fans will see Luke McCowan? He's a wanted man. We'll see how that goes in the coming weeks. More of a personal question for you, Dave Galloway. Did you get the Bojan Mijovski posters off your wall okay?
Yeah, the blue tack left a few marks though, so I'll need to do a bit of a paint job there. The way he left was exemplary. The way he has conducted himself, exemplary. He's still adored by the Aberdeen fans. He left a lengthy, heartfelt and emotional message on his own Instagram page, you know, just to say, you know, thanks very much for everything. Once a Don, always a Don, that sort of thing. But it'll be interesting to see how things react in the post-Mijovski era. Confidence obviously very high after starting the campaign with 6 successive wins, and, you know, having reached the final last season of this tournament, Aberdeen will be certainly targeting a repeat this time. It should be a decent game. Queens scored 16 goals in the League Cup group stages. Of course, they did lose 5-1 to Hibs. They've got a decent looking mix of youth and experience in the team. There'll be no pressure at all on them, so, you know, it'll be very interesting to see how this one pans out. Gordon, will the home team make a fast start, or can the visitors quieten the home fans and get a foothold in the game?
Gordon Dalziel was wanting to tell us about the posters he had on his bedroom wall, but we figured we'd leave that since it's a family show. Let's finally go back to the Spartans against Ross County. David Freeland, and as we've said, it's just the one that screams out nothing to win really and everything to lose for Ross County today. I don't mean nothing to win, because there's the obvious cup progression, but a real expectation on them to do the business.
Yeah, but I don't think someone like Don Cowie, and even Ross County as a club, considering where they came from, Gordon, you know, building their way up through the leagues, will ever take anything for granted coming down here. And, you know, there's a decent crowd now starting to pile into Ainslie Park, and, you know, the wind's up a wee bit. It's an AstroTurf pitch. You do wonder how tough it's going to be for Ross County. I don't think Don Cowie will be taking any chances. Judging by his team, he's put a really strong team. He won't be, but for Spartans, as you say, they've got nothing to lose. As I said earlier on, Dougie Samuel's side have done their job. Getting out the group stages was beyond their dreams. They maybe wanted somewhere away, you know, maybe Hampden to play Rangers or Celtic Park to play Celtic, but they've got Premiership opposition. It's on their home patch. They're going to be a decent crowd. I was speaking to a couple of officials, there was never any chance of obviously moving the game, but they're quite happy with that. They wanted to play here, and I think they're going to just go and give it a go. And as I said earlier on, Blair Henderson's a man that can score goals against anyone, and I'm sure he'll be out for one today again.
Looking forward to it. We are fast approaching kick-off. We're not far away at all. Let's take a breather and we'll get the guys to give their pre-match predictions next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Seconds away from kick-off in the 3 o'clock League Cup ties. There are many of them, and they're all fantastic looking in their own right. 4 at 3 o'clock currently then. What are we looking at? Aberdeen Queen's Park, Dundee Airdrie, Falkirk Hearts, the Spartans Ross County. Give us your hopeless dud prediction, please, Hugh Keevins.
I'm going for Aberdeen to beat Queen's Park, Dundee to beat Airdrie. In spite of the 8 changes, which I always think smacks of uncertainty at managerial level, Hearts to win at Falkirk, Ross County to defeat the Spartans, and at 5:45 Rangers will beat St Johnstone. By how many? I don't care to guess.
No shocks in there, Hugh? No? Straightforward.
Where's your sense of occasion?
Come on, Hugh. But I totally agree with you. I don't think there will be shocks. I know there's plenty of intriguing ties in there, but I think the bigger clubs will get the job done.
Boring.
Okay. Once a Don, always a Don. I'll go Aberdeen. Our Sky Sports reporter will give us plenty of goals from Dens Park. I'll go Dundee. The weatherman at Falkirk.
Did you catch that earlier on?
Yeah.
Roger Hannah always said he was reporting for Sky.
He's getting a bubby cell, isn't he?
One or two wee appearances on the paper review at 3 in the morning when nobody's watching. All of a sudden he thinks he's Jeff Stelling. Honestly,
Roger Hannah for Sky Sports reporting at Dens Park. It's Dundee 1. So I'll go for the weatherman. I'll go for a shock, Falkirk, and I'll go for Ross County.
There we are. You've got a sense of occasion. You've got the Falkirk shock. Let's find out.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Planning your holiday? Get essential health advice and medication before you travel.
Right, we're up and running. Let's see if we get any early goals, any early action, any early drama to keep us ready and raring to go. I'm looking forward to this. Of course, there are other games, not as many of them as you would expect down the divisions because of the Cup, but we do have a cracking looking game, albeit I'm not sure how I feel about already repeating fixtures in the Championship. Ayr and Hamilton, they've played each other already, haven't they?
Yeah.
They're playing again today in the Championship. And League One, we've got a few games there as well. In fact, it's still a full card actually in League One. And almost a full card in League 2, just making way for that Spartans appearance in the Cup. Early chance for Hearts, 30 seconds on the clock. It was Boyce, he had a bit of time and space, about 16 yards out perhaps, and the shot goes just over the bar.
I would have loved it. I'd have loved it if Hearts had scored there. After you said, there's your shock, Falkirk to beat Hearts. All the times you've looked across at me and laughed when I've got
still
it wrong.
a long way to go. 8 changes. Okay, I know Hearts have got a quality squad, leaving guys like Shanklin and all that on the bench. Falkirk, I think, get all the plaudits, and rightly so. I think John McGlynn is doing a brilliant job there. They play good football, good crowd. Can they rise to that? I just got a sneaky this afternoon they could get something.
Okay, we're up and running, and if you want to stay in touch throughout the afternoon, the best way to do so for now is at Clyde SSB on Twitter. At full time, of course, we will open the phones. We'll get your thoughts on what's taking place. We'll build up to the game at Hampden. In fact, we'll have team news from the National Stadium 5:45 kick-off, maybe 4:30ish, something around then. But you can stay in touch on Twitter. I'll give you the nod for the phones later. We'll preview tomorrow's action. So there is a lot going on. Sit back and, I was going to say relax, but I don't think that's possible with these three interrupting you. 2 minutes gone. Dylan Tate booked for a tackle on Blair Spittle. It's a long 88 plus minutes left for him. And, you know, referee not going for the whole let the first one slide.
Yeah. Remember the old days? Well, before did you never have that?
No.
We always, well, Fraser,
the first one's free.
Oh, the first one was always free. And I'll tell you what, the first one, like everything else, was always the sorest.
Fraser says it was a yellow card in his mind. Well, don't worry, we've had a lot of a lot of debate and discussion this week about VAR and should you be able to overturn second yellows and all that. So there we go. Maybe Dylan Tate would be a good case study, but there won't be any VAR in that game, of course. And it's interesting, some of the ones, the Premiership teams, if they're at home, some of them just opting to not have it.
Yeah, plenty of money at Aberdeen. They've just sold Miovski, so cost isn't the problem. It's obviously deciding not to go down that road.
And as an example, just tomorrow, last I checked, so Roger Hannah or someone will put me right if I've got it wrong, Motherwell, Kilmarnock, 2 Premiership teams. I don't think that's got VAR either.
So good old fashioned cup ties, and I was going to say the plus point is they'll all finish in time.
Oh yeah.
Might go the distance. Right, okay, if you're not willing to say there are going to be any shocks, well, you did. Any of you even willing to entertain these games going
extra
beyond
time?
90 minutes?
Oh yeah, Falkirk and Hearts could.
Oh right, okay.
Hold on a minute.
Tune a bit.
You're siding with me now, eh?
No. You said there'd be a shock there.
Would the Spartans taking Ross County be a shock after what they did to Hearts? Ran them close last year in the Cup. You know, that was a good performance. And the way they've started, we've tipped them, the Spartans, to win that league.
I must admit, I love David Frail's talking about it's filling up now. He was running about trying to make it look sound busy, didn't he?
And it was really quiet when he said it was filling up. I
suppose
these things are
the wind.
These things are relative.
He was flicking seats and all that, kidding on to other people sitting down.
The way things have gone for Philippe Clement this week, you wouldn't be surprised if they went to extra time. You know, by that time the game will finish at 7:30 tonight, and then another half hour just to completely turn everyone off.
Right, let's go for a bit of light Saturday afternoon entertainment, Hugh, in the form of
the first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
It's called the Premier Sports Cup this season. It's been called everything over the years, but it's the Scottish League Cup essentially. Can you tell me the last 5 Scots to score a goal in the Scottish League Cup final? The last 5 Scots to score a goal in the Scottish League Cup final.
Simple as that. At Clyde SSB, you need to get one tweet with all of the correct names on it, and it needs to be quicker than everyone else. It is quite simple, so get your thinking caps on, put some names down and tweet us at Clyde SSB. I noticed in your short but illustrious career, Mark Wilson, you won the League Cup once.
Did
Was
I?
it a particularly
yes, I did.
Only once. You're sitting next to Doss.
Did you win it twice? Did you Doss? Okay.
2009 for you, Mark.
Oh yeah, we beat Rangers. Yeah, that's right. McGeady and O'Day, I think, scored the goals.
Good to see it stayed with you.
But I was a sub. I came on right at the crucial time
just to see it over the line.
Extra time left back.
Starter twice. Goal scorer.
Who did you beat?
Once. Captain once.
Oh, so you did.
Right, hold on. Who was the other one?
Rangers against.
Who else would it be?
Aberdeen or something like that.
No. Right. I'll give you a guess who it was against. You going Aberdeen?
I
was
obviously not
that day.
Dundee United.
Well done. Yeah.
There is quite a long gap between Scottish League Cup victories, by the way. It's quite a span.
Was it 80 odds and 990 odds?
Well, I don't know if 94 is 90 odds, but
right,
yeah.
94, and I would probably say
81-82 season, yeah. So
yeah,
that's quite a gap.
I was only a young lad at that time. I was just coming through the ranks.
But see, the thing is,
I was a promising youngster.
You were talking about you starting versus Mark being a sub. They didn't have that many subs in your day. In fact, you were the only one who was subbed off.
Hold on, I was injured. I remember
there was one sub off.
I remember that because there was no. You were talking about first tackles and referees let you away with a lot more. I remember Hegarty. He knew I was a danger man and decided to take one for a team, and I had to limp off. But we won 2-1. It was a big part of it.
Yeah, team player, I'm sure.
Subbed when there's one sub.
Hearts putting on a bit of pressure early on. A corner headed down to Kenneth Vargas, 6 yards out. He hooked a shot against the bar, and then the ball cleared. So it's not often we see Hearts going without certain Lawrence Shankland. He's going to have to do a Mark Wilson, come off the bench if he wants to.
You know the best
impact.
bit about that final that we won? Well, obviously lifting the trophy and beating Rangers, but Gordon Strachan took us out to Glen Eagles for a couple of nights before it. That's why we got over the line. That was amazing, and you got the choice of doing anything you want. Boys went and played golf, and I went to the spa.
Did you?
Got a massage. Oh, it was
amazing.
amazing.
Go for a wee hill climb, a wee.
That's how the other half
Glencoe.
That is, isn't it? So more than one night as well.
2 nights, yeah.
For goodness
and
sake.
we travelled from Glen Eagles back to, I think it was Barrafield at that time, to train, and then back again to Glen Eagles.
I always thought his time as Scotland manager Gordon Strachan was very against players golfing.
Yeah,
before games.
Yeah, he was. But no, some of the boys went. You could do anything you want, and
you
just
chose
relax.
the spa.
I chose the spa. But have you been in the spa up there?
Yes.
You would choose the spa as well.
So I mean, it just shows you the difference, doesn't it? Because Wraith Rovers 94, you were in the Erskine Bridge Hotel, were you not?
Yeah,
and he was in Glen Eagles. He went for a spa.
Hold on.
Goodness knows
did you get up to?
I went for more relaxing. I just went for a sleep. I just put my feet up and relaxed. But listen, when I was at Rangers, we went to Turnberry. Yeah, Chumbury, and everybody was allowed to golf, and I didn't golf. Believe that, believe that.
Can't believe that.
Do you know what I done? I ended up going to Girvan and playing darts with Davy Cooper because Davy Cooper hated golf, and I was sort of room, and he decided, look, I'm not playing golf. I says, right, okay, I'll go with you. I was only young, and we went into Girvan for a bit of the old arrows.
How things have changed. The golf addict nowadays,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah, they've bombed them out now.
Goal in that big championship game we spoke of. Ayr United 1, Hamilton Accies 0. Jamie Murphy on 8 minutes. Very early days, but Ayr do look like they've got a bit going for them this season.
Scoring plenty. Bruni's the man. You look at his playing career, stellar. The only word that you can apply to it is stellar. I never really thought of him as a manager, but he's certainly at Ayr United. He's doing a terrific job.
To be fair, a lot of people thought about that about me, Hugh.
Well, honestly, just stop talking about yourself for 1 minute.
And they were correct.
We've moved on.
No, I like to bring it all back to me,
Right,
Gordon.
okay.
It's an entertaining show.
But no, they do look like they've got a lot going for them.
Can I tell you what my grandchildren said about you?
Oh.
We were watching the live stream of Super Scoreboard.
This'll be good.
In Mallaig.
Be careful.
Almost certainly going to be offensive.
In their new home in Mallaig, and they said, that man doesn't look interested.
It's a fair observation.
That's brilliant. And so true. So true.
What take a video in here on a Saturday. It's worse when you're talking.
Not ideal. Really not ideal. But anyway, we move on. Get your answers into that first half teaser at Clyde SSB. We do have a goal in the championship for Ayr United thanks to Jamie Murphy. We do not have anything in our League Cup matches yet. It does sound like Hearts are going on the front foot as their superior status in the Scottish football pyramid would.
It's incredible.
predict.
It's incredible when you look at Hearts now going to Falkirk today. They know that's a tricky tie, and confidently the manager makes 8 changes, and you look at that team and you still think that is a very strong team.
Would you think confidently? Would you? I mean, to make 8 changes from one match to the next?
I think that if you go there and you're not so confident, I don't think you make 8 changes, Hugh. I think you maybe make 1 or 2. I think you keep guys like Shankland on the pitch early, and if you can get the goals, get them off. But he's obviously got a lot of trust in his squad.
Also, as we say, and I do take Hugh's point, because sometimes not forget the names, but even just that level of disruption, the numbers can play a big part. But to then bring in the strength of those names,
incredible.
There's a lot of good players that have been over the course in Scottish football and impressed at Hearts.
Yeah,
some new signings in there as well have been brought in for a reason.
By the way, Fraser was spot on when he says that brings about its own pressure though, because it's great when you have a squad like that and you rotate, but Stephen Naismith must feel an element of pressure. If you're Celtic manager, Rangers manager, you're expected to finish in a certain place in the league and go deep into cup competitions. He must be the same within the Hearts fan base, but he's a realistic chance of getting deep into cup competitions, getting into finals. Can he keep in touch with the top 2? That's a big question this season.
That was maybe part of the frustration. Like, they had a successful season last season anyway. They weren't, not like they needed to improve drastically, but last week when they went to Dundee and had that bad performance in the midfield, Spittle didn't play, Danda didn't play, Boateng didn't play, so it was all these new signings and didn't get the nod to go in there. But we'll see how they fare today. Some goals down the leagues going in. Clyde 0, Stirling Albion 1. There in Hamilton, the visitors taking the lead. A Craig Howie own goal. We do have a goal in one of our League Cup games. Let's find out who for.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And Dundee take the lead at home to Airdrie. It's a man that's impressed since arriving for Tony Docherty's side, Seb Palmer Holden. Airdrie couldn't clear the corner. Simon Murray, his strike partner, another new signing, challenged the keeper, and Roger Hanna says SPH bundles the ball home.
I like that. SPH.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's not catching on.
SPH. Yeah, well, he started well at Tannadice, didn't he?
KDB. That's like Kevin De Bruyne. We can't go SPH.
SPH.
Good signing. We sell a bit, Roger, just then. It'd be brought down here.
But Seb Palmer Holden, he's started well, hasn't he? When you look at the good performance last week, scored in the derby. I was there. He ran right towards where I was standing. Tried the knee slide.
Terrible.
Couldn't execute it.
Dreadful.
Did you ever
No.
try that?
Look at this.
Come on.
You're dealing with a guy that's got like
I know, but
the least function.
There was a bit of his career when his knees were okay.
No, surgeon told me at 17, you score, son, don't be doing any knee slides, because that'll curtail your career even sooner.
You done a lot with Strachan. Then it worked.
Terrible, honestly. No injuries in here. Don't knee slide on this carpet. Their insurance won't cover that. So there's confirmation coming through of that Dundee goal to set things on their way there. It's the only goal we've got in our League Cup game. Spartans have got a free kick 30 yards out. They're doing okay, says David Friel, who promises us that the atmosphere is electric.
He's stretching it a bit now.
I've never been there. It's one of few
grounds. That's a lie. I haven't.
Is it Ainsley Park? Am I correct?
It's the only time you'll ever hear the word electric and Ainsley Park in the same sentence.
I took my break inside there, Edinburgh City.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's what got me confused, because Motherwell played Edinburgh City in one of those League Cup games there, and I went, but it wasn't a Spartans game.
Played there, it was a good setup for Edinburgh City. Who
I think it's AstroTurf,
yeah. But they do a lot of good community work. The Spartans, lots of teams, lots of young academy teams in and around the club. Good setup.
Good effort. It was Russell took the free kick 30 yards, just wide, so trying. You sometimes know that the lesser team, so called, in the cup competitions, maybe it's a set piece, maybe it's a mistake, so it could take something like that for Spartans, but no breakthrough yet.
What about their goal against Hearts? I mean, remember that? It was up there for goal of the season. It was unbelievable. Might take something like that.
Hugh, remind us of your teaser, if you would be so kind.
Yes, topical. Tell me the last 5 Scots to score a goal in the Scottish League Cup final.
Lots of people are doing fairly well here. Alison and Sean and others wanted to suggest, though, Chris Commons.
I know Chris is always an answer to everything on this show, but not this time.
Such a popular wrong answer, by the way. Josh has thrown him in as well.
Yep.
There are so many people falling for the Chris Commons. It makes me think you're all Googling it and just missing one out.
League Cup, yeah.
Star Bar Andrew would like to throw in Stevie May.
Well, I do approve of the Star Bar, but that's not the correct answer.
And what about Johnny Hayes?
Johnny Hayes is not there.
Okay, keep your guesses coming at Clyde SSB. It's a race, I can tell you. Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel, they don't have all the right answers yet. They look thoroughly confused, as is often the case.
Aye.
Edinburgh City 0, Bonnie Rigrose 1. Kerr Young with the goal there in Scottish League 2. So there is pretty much a full card in Leagues 1 and 2. It's really just the Championship and Premiership that's been affected by the League Cup games, and we're looking forward to more of them throughout the course of the evening, and of course tomorrow as well. You two are just not even folk. You're just too busy concentrating on the
sorry
they've put down 4 and 2 are wrong and 2 are right, so
now get 5.
Great chance for Hearts. Oda's through. He's 1-on-1 with Hogarth. Great save. He spread himself well. Oda really should have scored though, so Hearts will be frustrated on one hand, but maybe encouraged by their early chances, early possession, early opportunities in this one. So we'll keep an eye. Maybe we get that breakthrough fairly soon.
Fraser was talking about the surface there, Falkirk Stadium. I was on that a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
I mean, when you artificial pitches, we obviously most of us don't like them, but if you're going to have one, be like that. You know, nice surface to play on.
It's also, well, in my limited experience, it's when they get relayed. Basically, if you've got a good one and it's freshly down, as that would have been, because Airdrie's got relayed last season, didn't it? And it looked great. I know your training is affected because Petershill's getting redone at the moment. I was over at Oriam a few weeks ago, and they were redoing one of the indoor halls, the one that Hearts play in the training, and then they were moving on to the big indoor pitch. So it's time when they get trampled down and they get flat and they start looking all shiny as well, which just makes it much worse on TV. So it's nice when you get a fresh.
What happens hypothetically if Falkirk were to win promotion up to the Premier League at a time when we are, or the Premiership I should say, when we are about to outlaw artificial pitches?
Well, they were one of the ones that sort of expressed a concern
Do
about
you get a period of grace to
that rule change, weren't they, over the summer, or when that rule came out? I know there was a few of the clubs down the divisions certainly expressed their concerns at what that would look like.
Do you get a season to prepare? You can play on the artificial surface for a season and then
Surely not. Surely the period of grace is now that they've been told. I know promotion is a long way off.
If Falkirk get promotion, then they need
to have a contingency plan.
Tear up the carpet and put them.
Get back to Brockville. Is that still there here?
Well, I doubt it.
No, because remember, it's to be phased out by 2026.
So
you still got
another year
time anyway. Yeah.
Well, you know, but the story,
I know time is going fast, but we're still 2 years away from that. So.
But the story of the season, if Falkirk got back-to-back promotions, it would be incredible.
Tell you what, sitter for Queen's Park. I'm been a shock to see them taking the lead at Pittodrie. Zach Rudden. It was just a mix-up in defence. The ball squared to him, but he just, not quite the conviction he was looking for. Ball gets blocked. And in the other game, nice move as well from Ross County and Jordan White. 20 yards, but maybe should have done better. Sliced it wide. Ronan Hale's been impressive, hasn't he, since he signed for County? Really sharp, good eye for goal. He's had a shot saved as well. So there's quite a lot going on in front of goal, just not as much finding the back of the net as we would like.
I think Dave's got a Jimmy Thielen poster up in place of Bojan.
I think certainly in good time. I mean, this was the week we officially lost Bojan Miovski to the Scottish game. Just a brilliant move though, wasn't it? We spoke about it on the midweek shows. Everything about it, because Aberdeen got great money. He gets a move to a Champions League team in La Liga. It just fitted, didn't it?
Absolutely brilliant. I've got to say, I think they got a bargain at 6.5, was it? 6.5 million. But obviously Aberdeen delighted with that money, don't want to stand in the lad's way. He was terrific. He was really, really terrific, top notch, had everything in his locker. He's at a good age as well, and I'm just delighted that he's went away and he's left every Aberdeen fan so happy. Once a Don, always a Don.
I'll tell you what set of fans are not happy. They've got a lot going on. Inverness, Cally Thistle. They're a goal down at home to Montrose as well. So on the pitch, off the pitch, everywhere else, it's just not a good time.
Charlie Christie brought back during the week as the CEO, effectively. An interim chairman put in place, looking for a buyer for the club. Dunfermline were put up for sale during the week as well by their German owners. Stephen Mill gave me the full rundown on what's going on yesterday.
Did you see the statement though from Dunfermline? It was kind of just like blaming the Dunfermline fans. Did you not see this?
Well, the owners did.
The tone was all like, look, we were just trying to put building blocks in place for the future, but it appears people didn't really want that, and that's not our fault. It was that sort of tone. Sorry, we were thinking about the longer term. We didn't realise people were so impatient. It was that sort of.
Well, the Fifers aren't patient.
It never really works.
But they've got a great support, and that's a good ground at East End Park, and that everything's right for there to be a good club in that town. But the owners seem to not get the fact that you need to get players in order to go up a division, and when you go up a division, that will take care of your financial situation, because you get big crowds all the time.
Paul Watson's been booked for a poor tackle on Jordan White in that Spartans Ross County game. County want a red, but I think it's just going to be a yellow. So no VAR, of course, as we discussed, to bail them out. Just quickly, while we've got a bit of a lull or a quiet spell in front of goal, did you see that you were the front page of the Daily Star?
What?
This week, Hugh Keevins.
The Daily Star?
I love the Daily Star in my day.
You're thinking of the Daily something else,
No, Daily Star, was it?
Did you see him front page? Well,
I don't buy papers.
I didn't see it.
Well, sort of by association, if you like. There is a grey-haired man with glasses on the front, but it doesn't even look that much like him. But it's more the story. The headline: horror of the cold baked beans deviants. It says, and the story: like a quarter of Brits, the really sick ones, admit to eating their baked beans cold. Just what is wrong with Britain at the moment?
Nothing.
That's a big
and you,
problem.
as we've discussed on this show before, are a big advocate of cold
Did you
baked
say
beans.
Really sick ones?
I
would use another word. Mark and we're witness to this. There's a few times we've had to pick each other up off the ground.
That's what it's. They've told you sick.
You still at that, Hugh? You still digging into the cold
still
beans?
At the beans?
Listen, if I'm in a hurry, I just tear open one of those.
There is nowhere you need to be that much in a hurry that you need to.
He has to get in here for 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a midweek show.
Yeah.
So but you've always got enough time for a tin opener to open the beans.
No, that's what I was going to say. Do you always go for the ring pull?
No, he goes for the pouch.
No, the pouches.
It does a pouch.
That's worse. So you eat it like a yogurt, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
disgusting.
The tin would be marginally worse, I think, somehow.
But it's just scraping it, that noise.
Oh, so it's those little plastic tubs of beans.
Buy them 4 at a time.
No, that's
right.
rank.
A traditionalist like you would have gone for tins, but there we go.
And just straight up, non-toast or anything. Just straight out the plastic tub.
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh, no, it probably would just be bread. You wouldn't even be bothered toasting it. You're not eating the beans, you're not eating the bread.
I have a confession to make.
Oh, here we go.
I bought macaroni and cheese yesterday in the supermarket across the way there, and I had to get producer Chris to put it in the microwave for me.
That's what you've got to say. Yeah, we're going to eat
for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how you worked it.
Good microwaves up the stairs here.
There's
a lot in this place that doesn't work. The microwaves are magnificent. Anyway, the beans, but so that, because this will bother me, spoon or fork?
Spoon.
Oh, you got to go spoon.
Yeah,
all day long.
I don't trust myself with a fork.
You want to say juice?
That's absolutely disgusting, isn't it?
Cold bean juice. And then he goes like at the end and drinks it.
Honestly, well, there you are. You've been exposed. You're the front page of the newspaper this week.
Never mind that, the Seagulls are 1 up at Everton.
Various people sent me that to out you as one of the cold baked beans deviants, according to this headline.
I shall be consulting my lawyers over the use of the word sick people.
You're right, the Seagulls have scored. Everton 0, Brighton 1, Arsenal 1, Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Bournemouth 0. The English Premier League back this weekend. Usual rules will apply. I'll try and tell you the things that you really need to know, and of course anything that any Scottish player does of note, we'll try and involve it that way. Liverpool kicked things off earlier with a 2-0 win at newly promoted Ipswich. That was a full-time result. I'm sure you saw Man United last night as well. A late sub-appearance from Scott McTominay.
Liverpool's manager Arne Slot, first one to win the opening game of a new season at Liverpool since Graham Souness in 1991.
See, that's why you're here. Research, cold baked beans. It is all
mind you
there.
I am the darling of the Kilmarnock fans, so you can take all your criticism and put it away.
And no, happy new season. Producer Michael tells me Nottingham Forest have just lost someone to a broken leg within 9 minutes.
Oh dear.
Your season over. It's not. You want to start a new campaign. Just Andy Robertson played. If we're going to talk Scottish things, I know he was struggling with injury over the summer, wasn't he? But he started for Liverpool and came off today. So a win for Liverpool to get things going. Let's revisit that teaser, Hugh, if you can.
Can you tell me the last 5 Scots to score a goal in the Scottish League Cup final? No matter who sponsored it, when it was, who were the last 5 Scots to score a goal in the Scottish League Cup final?
I would say most of you are close. Maybe just the odd one here and there that you're not quite getting. I said so many were falling for Chris Commons. It's a wrong answer. What else did I see? Scott Connie would like to throw in Stuart Armstrong.
No, he's not there.
He's not one. Okay, let's see if we can help you any further if you're one of these that is close. Bailey has thrown in some well-known names, but I think we're a bit off on some of these. Lawrence Shankland?
No.
Callum McGregor?
No. No Cal Mac.
You're thinking Scottish Cup final, Motherwell.
Yeah,
I've tried to forget it. Ayr United 1, Hamilton Accies 1. Equaliser, Ollie Shaw. On the subject of Motherwell, didn't quite get going in North Lanarkshire last season, so he's just down the dual carriageway from the Dazzlers flat and over to Hamilton Accies this season. He's equalised against Ayr United today. There's a nice early red card into the new season. Fabian Schär of Newcastle, 28 minutes into the new season. Off you go.
In League 2 down the road, how good are Crewe? They're 4-0 down at home after 28 minutes on the first day.
Jordan White has the ball in the net, I think, for Ross County, but offside. That goal won't stand and it stays goalless. So it's goalless in most of our cup ties. The only one that we do have a breakthrough is that Dundee Airdrie game. It was Seb Palmer holding for Tony Docherty's side.
In the passing, how good a job has Tony Docherty done? I mean, he gets them promotion. They start with a derby draw at Tannadice, and then a good win last weekend, and now possibly 1 foot in the next round of the Cup.
I thought they might struggle a bit this year as well. I thought, that first season in the top flight and everything's fresh for Tony, and he made some good signings, and Beck was there, and there was a lot of talk about them, and they lost a lot of those players. He's brought a good few in, and I've got to say, they are looking good again.
Do you think, as a former Celtic player, Luke McCowan could make the move from Dundee to Celtic?
No.
Right.
I don't.
Have a think about it before you answer.
No, I know. Look, the boy's a good player, there's no doubt about it, but we said a couple of weeks ago when his name come up that the competition for places within that area where he is too great for him to go in and disturb, I think.
Is the counter to that, those who are suggesting it, do they clearly feel that yes, he's definitely below that first three, obviously, and he's below Paulo Bernardo, but thereafter, is he a more reliable, suitable option than Odin Thiago Holm or Tomoki Iwata? And therefore, when you get to that volume of games, or when you can make 5 subs, obviously, and you start getting to cup games and games off the back of European action.
Well, on the face of it, you've got to think so at the minute, because we see him playing, we see the effect he's having in this league, and we've not seen that for really Holm, maybe Kwon. But Brendan Rodgers, I don't think, needs to buy more squad players. He needs to buy players that will improve the squad, not just people who sit on the bench and come in and out here and there and play a bit part. They've got that already, so they really need to take it to the next level, and I don't think he would.
I think the boy's terrific, I really do, but I'm totally on Mark's side here. I don't think he's at that level, and I don't see that happen.
I think the clip you played last night on Super Scoreboard from Brendan Rodgers about taking £18 million and buying 3 players for £6 million each and turning them into £30 million players, I think Brendan Rodgers was simply saying out loud what he has said in private to Celtic before this window shuts. I think that's what he really wants: 3 players of very high quality and good money.
Peterhead 1, Stranraer 0. Seb Ross with the goal there. Just on the subject of Tony Docherty and the job he's doing, it feels like results obviously are the main barometer, and that's how he judged. But it feels like even if you look a bit deeper, sometimes the things he does in games, making changes, identifying what the other team does, you can see all that experience coming through, despite the fact he's an inexperienced manager on his own right. But it feels like he's sort of in-game decision making is really good.
Well, you must take so much when you're an assistant for so long at a successful club under a good manager. There must be times that you stand there and think, when I agree with the manager there, I would have done this and I would have done that, and he's putting that into place now. He's obviously picked up a lot, but he's a fantastic coach. I had him early in my career, then I had him at Bristol City as well, because he started at Dundee United. Very, very good coach, very good at building relationships with players, and I think you need that now as a manager. It's not all about how you coach and what session you put on. A lot of it's about the relationship with the players, and Tony's a guy who finds that part pretty easy, I think, and I think that comes across in his team, how they play for him. But you're spot on about tactically as well. He's been spot on this season.
I like his pathway. I think he's done it the right way, and I think that's holding him in good stead. I think the fact that he went into coaching, he didn't dive into a manager's job. He went in with Derek McInnes, he learned the trade, he worked at it, he looked at it. I think he even was away with Scotland at one point.
Yeah, was he?
And then it was all about timing. He's obviously looked at Dundee. He wouldn't have just jumped into Dundee. He would have looked at Dundee and thought, yeah, that's the right fit. And so far, you've got to say both got it right so far.
The big boys are not getting it all their own way. Mitov's had to make a save from Turner. Queen's creating 1 or 2 openings there. Similarly, pretty even in the Spartans against Ross County game. So maybe, just maybe, we've got a shock on the cards. Well, his old pal that you mentioned, Derek McInnes, you touched on it earlier, Hugh, but what a great midweek for Kilmarnock that was.
Yeah, I mean, a grievance in football, I think, is a good thing. And Kilmarnock the manager took a grievance to Norway with him because he thought that Tromsø didn't overstep the mark and become disrespectful at Rugby Park, but they left Derek in no doubt whatsoever that they thought the job was done, and they would just confirm that when they got to their own place in Norway. And I think that added to his satisfaction when Kilmarnock got to go through Joe Wright and now go to play FC Copenhagen. It was a moment of satisfaction, no matter what Tromsø say about how Kilmarnock play football.
And who knew that result would lead to you becoming a social media sensation? Have you heard about this?
No.
So I honestly thought this was so good. I really laughed at it last night. I thought it was excellent by the Kilmarnock Twitter admin, whoever they may be. So someone named George, presumably a Tromsø fan, a Norwegian football fan, tweeted Kilmarnock to say, "You are the worst playing team I have seen in my life. You get an early goal and then just stop playing football." Okay? Kilmarnock's official Twitter account then responds to that tweet, quote tweets it with a video of you that they've somehow found from I don't know, I think it was maybe a couple of Fridays ago, and they've responded to this angry Norwegian fan with this clip of you.
I have 2 words for those who complain. Boo-hoo.
How good is that? The imagination. I need to know the process. Did they always just have this clip ready for that type of occasion? Has it just sprung to mind when they saw that? I was very happy with that. It's a good standard from Killy's Twitter admin early in the season.
Yeah, I do have to take some consultation over my image rights.
Oh, of course,
of
course, yeah.
Yeah, I think if Derek McInnes says just send an invoice over.
That's fine. I'll be right with you, Del.
You are being used to diss fans
in Norway.
Just
imagine then, right? So Norwegian fans last night thinking, who's this old guy?
Who is this guy?
Who's this guy giving us it time?
You might get a few after dinner gigs, Hugh, in Norway.
There you are.
You might become famous.
Trondheim's the place for me.
I do think we could play this. We could play this regularly throughout the show. If somebody's complaining,
I have 2 words for those who complain. Boo-hoo.
Well, we don't need to play it. We've got a guy, we can just tap him on the shoulder and then he comes out with
something funnier about playing it. I don't know why, but there we go.
Internet sensation, Hugh.
Well done again to Killy's Twitter admin.
Are you still off the Twitter, Hugh?
Yeah, for me, the novelty wore off.
How long you been off?
Oh, just over a year. The novelty simply wore off. I mean, I listen. Gordon Duncan tells me sometimes what people say about what is said on SuperScoreBoard, and you think, nah, I really couldn't be doing with that anymore.
Yeah, a lot of the sense of humour sort of dropped out of it, hasn't it?
Well, what other social media platform can we get you on?
TikTok Shug. TikTok Todd's leaving, so TikTok Shug can take his place.
Need to upgrade that phone though, because can't get any videos in that.
You'll need to film it. As covered on the show midweek, it's been a rough week for your social media use, because remember we found out a few years ago the only Twitter account you follow is Katie Price.
Yeah, I like
and
Katie.
If you go and type her name into Twitter at the moment, you get a whole different experience. So
don't be eating your dinner when you're doing that.
I think we need to shut your Twitter down forever. never to be seen again, and just wipe it from the face of the earth.
It's down anyways, is it not? Yeah.
No, I think it's still there.
Is it still there? I don't even know what the name is. What's the name?
Still exists. But you were saying to us during the week, actually, not to tell secrets from behind closed doors, but you fear you actually are quite addicted to TikTok.
Oh yeah,
you're staying up all night.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Like a teenager.
And the worst is I'm into things that I never thought I'd be into.
Yeah, and it's annoying me. He's fallen for that trap. He's going to be in a Netflix documentary. He's getting his political discourse from TikTok.
Yeah,
and it's dangerous.
Politics,
Some of the opinions he's coming in here with, I'm thinking, whoa, Dazzler, put TikTok, put it away. Just put it down.
I think the people want me.
You and politics would not mix.
So that's what he's getting it from, and you need
a lot of disinformation on these sites.
You've got to be aware of that. See, like, people of your age and you think that everything you're seeing on there is the truth. You've not been brought up in this internet age. You need to realise that
you told me you had never voted in your life.
No, I don't, but I'm starting to now think that
he's going to run. He's
going to run as a candidate.
Make Motherwell great again.
Yeah, I think I'm telling you now,
he's got the tan already,
the people out there would vote for me.
Look at even the way he does that with his hand.
Exactly.
He looks like a politician.
I'm a people's person. That's one thing about me. I remember where I grew up in a big detached house with a big pool. No, I'm only kidding.
But he generally says he's up all night watching
TikTok.
That's weird.
Mate, I can't. And do you know, I'm thinking, right, I'll get another 5 minutes, and before I know it's 1:30 to 1:45.
Honestly, right, I'm worried that the algorithm's getting you. I think that's what it does.
Does it?
It's clever.
Do you think you can get
down rabbit
addicted
holes
to that?
No, but you go down a rabbit hole. You watch one thing, so it feeds you that same type of stuff. Then you're in an echo chamber. You're only seeing that opinion. You need to treat it with caution, Dazzler. I'm telling you.
Well,
see, after him speaking about it, I did download TikTok the other day for the first time. At breakfast the other morning, I was 40 minutes.
It's brilliant.
I was watching videos about Kilimanjaro. That's what I was doing, but I'm slightly different.
He'll be watching entirely different videos, I suspect. Right, we're getting to that late stage in the first half. I would love to tell you about more cup goals. I can't do it, unfortunately. However, we've given them the kiss of death already. We were full of praise for Ayr United. They're losing at home to Hamilton Accies. Jamie Burr-Jonas has turned that one around. So Ayr United went in front early on thanks to a Jamie Murphy goal, but Ollie Shaw and Jamie Burr-Jonas have Hamilton in front as we approach the break. Goalless in most of our cup games: Aberdeen Queen's Park, Falkirk Hearts, Spartans Ross County. The only goal we have is for Dundee against Airdrie. They're 1-0 up.
That's the first shock for me. We're getting near half time and the inform Aberdeen haven't scored at home. I'd imagine, I think there'll be a few restless fans up there just now, but Falkirk Hearts evenly balanced. And to be fair, Spartans, you've got to have the right attitude to go to places like that and go and get
Did you know, since we're talking about lack of goals in that fixture, remember Roger gave us the great stat about Craig Gordon back in goal, played against Falkirk in 2003 and lost 4-0. Well, did you know that in 1993, how's this for a result? Falkirk 6, Hearts 0, and on the score sheet, Wishart.
No way.
Can you believe it?
Fraser Wishart.
1st of May.
Hearts must have been
a throw-in.
Hearts must have been poor.
My wedding anniversary, that doesn't count if it's before you're actually married, does it? But anyway, 1st of May, Fraser Wishart scored in a 6-0 win against Hearts.
Tell him he send in a text to describe
the goal.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got another one of these in the cup just before the break.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Dundee 2, Airdrie 0. They're managing their way through this professionally, are the Premiership side, and it's Jordan McGee, one of Dundee's reliable bodies, plays a number of positions, pops up with goals as well, and he's done it again 5 minutes before the break. Dundee 2, Airdrie 0. I think it was another corner that just couldn't be cleared, and there we are, into the back of the net.
Now, you said professionally, done their job professionally. Is it just me, or if Ross County went out to Spartans, that would be unprofessional? They are from our top
It's not
division.
Unprofessional though, like cup shocks happen, so then for every time a cup shock happens, the team are unprofessional.
A part-time team from the bottom division.
That's what that does then, is you take all the credit away from them.
Well, I think you can only claim it's unprofessional
if you find out
the preparation's been poor. You know that a couple of the players just didn't take it seriously. If you find that out, then I would agree on
like
professional.
if they got the bonkers bus from Dingwall down before the game, just to
a great idea that is.
If they got that bus the way down, they'd be 4-0 up down now, let me tell you.
What a great idea. Imagine that, you win the league before your last league game, and then you go to the away fixture on the bonkers bus.
Turn up.
Everybody coming in fancy dress.
What is the bonkers bus?
Oh, you must have seen it, Hugh.
No.
Or maybe not.
It features regularly on Clyde One. Thanks for listening. George and Cassie will be delighted. It's like a party bus.
Takes the kids to school.
You can get them cool ride to school and songs. And
then in the evening,
has it got karaoke facilities and all that sort of stuff? Then by night it's more for like hen-dos and stuff like that.
I might hire that for my birthday.
Oh yeah.
By the way, imagine
does it not park itself up towards? You never drive past it when you're going to your Lanark golf course, no?
No, I've not seen
I'm
that.
sure it's based somewhere in that neck of the woods.
Up near Curluke Way?
Yeah, the kind of Clydeside up towards Curluke,
Yeah.
I think that's where it lives.
It lives up there.
Bonkers bus.
I mean, the cleaning company, imagine that after a hen or a stag on a Sunday or something,
and
they've got the
that.
kids to take to school the next day.
I will not imagine it. Anyway, Fraser Wishart might be lacking goals, but it's feisty. 6 bookings. Oof. 6 bookings in the first half. Not a goal. Good save by Craig Gordon. So it was Ross McKeever, who's been a real success story for Kilmarnock. He burst past Halkett and Kingsley. He was clean through. Gordon got a touch to his low, and it goes low to his left, and it goes inches wide. So maybe Falkirk before the break. Half time. That's very prompt for Scott Allen and his teammates. Hugh Keevins are both 0, Kelty 0. Half time whistle goes like just before 3:45. I don't know how they've quite managed.
Everybody bored.
They've had enough. Let's round this off while we can, Hugh.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The last 5 Scots to score a goal in the Scottish League Cup final: Paul Hanlon for Hibs, Sean Rooney for St Johnstone, Ryan Christie for Celtic, James Forrest for Celtic, and Michael Gardine for Ross County.
Michael Gardine. Lots of you forgot about that one, and loads of people went for Chris Commons, but Gardine was on that list. Sent off last week, was he not, for Montrose? I'm sure I saw that. But anyway, we have a first half podium that looks like this: Derek FM in third place, Charlie Bear, Theo's cousin, in second, and Mark Gall is the winner of the first half teaser. We've got a lovely Who Am I for after the break, so stay tuned, sharpen your pencil or whatever you need to do, and we'll bring you that very soon. Some goals in the English Premier League if you're interested. Newcastle 1, Southampton 0. Joe Linton with the goal just before the break there. And like I said, half-time whistles are starting to go. That Ayr 1, Hamilton 2 potential semi-shock on the cards there, but that is in the league. Barry Welsh says, tell Fraser Wishart it was my dad who scouted him for Motherwell. Scouting fee was involved, but not as much as you would expect. True story, says Barry Welsh.
So it's Welsh's fault.
It's Mr. Welsh that we've got to blame.
Imagine scouting Wishart there. Do you know, I remember, I know I played at the time Fraser, I used to watch Fraser. I can never recall Fraser Wishart heading a football.
Yeah, but you don't really remember anything. You're not the best sounding board for that. You don't even remember Mark playing.
But that was different.
This guy played in the Champions League.
What was different about that?
Well, you weren't really a household name.
That was a household name.
No,
in his own house.
Your house.
You weren't really.
That was a big deal.
Listen, if you were asking Celtic players to come along to functions, you weren't in the top 10, mate. Let me tell you that right now.
Hold on, why you haven't got me? You were on Fraser. How did this get pivoted to me?
It was him sort of directed.
What are you saying about Fraser?
I love Fraser.
Mr. Welsh has an eye for a player, says Fraser. Anyway, it's half time. First one to go was Roger Hanna, Dundee, Airdrie. You've got the goals as well, Roger. Maybe not, we'll go back to him. Let's go Fraser Wishart first. Fraser, what is happening here? Can they not hear me? I can hear them.
I can hear you.
Right, Roger, take it away.
Yeah, Dundee 2, Airdrie 0 at the break here at the end, and it's perfectly straightforward for Tony Docherty's top flight side against championship opposition. They could have been ahead after just 5 minutes. Luke McCowan flashing a shot just off target. Airdrie had a brief flurry. Ben Wilson's angle shot deflected into the arms of the recalled Dundee goalkeeper Trevor Carson after 9 minutes, but since then it's been one-way traffic. The opening goal came after 12 minutes, a corner on the left from Lyle Cameron. They couldn't clear it. Simon Murray challenged goalkeeper Kieran Wright. the ball fell to the feet of Seb Palmer-Houlden, and he poked it home from close range for the opener. In 19 minutes it could and possibly should have been two. Scott Tiffany and Simon Murray linking to create another opening for Palmer-Houlden. This time he flashed his shot over the top. Ethan Ingram then played a ball over the top a moment later. Murray clean through and the goalkeeper, but the on-loan Rangers shot stopper Wright produced a terrific stop to keep the score down at 1-0. 34 minutes, another chance for Dundee. Tiffany, a great run deep from his own half. He fed the ball to Lyle Cameron. The shot was blocked and then cleared away by the Airdrie right back Dylan McDonald. It was a close range header from Tiffany in 36 minutes, somehow clawed over the top by goalkeeper Wright. But that second goal for Dundee delayed only until the 40th minute, and again a set piece that Airdrie just couldn't deal with. A corner this time in the far side, and it came to the 6-yard box, and big Jordan McGee up from centre half got his head to it. Kieran Wright got a hand to the header, he just couldn't keep it out. It looks one-way traffic here at Dens. Dundee 2, Airdrie 0.
Fraser Wisher, let's try again. It's half time in that game in Falkirk. Take it away.
Yeah, it is. Falkirk 0, Hearts 0. No goals, but it's been a brilliant 45 minutes to watch. Hearts will be wondering how they're not ahead. Plenty of chances, especially in the early stages, but Nicky Hogarth has produced a number of great saves in the Falkirk goals. Only 30 seconds on the clock when Yutaro Oda cut the ball back to Liam Boyce. Good control by the striker. He found space 16 yards out, shot just past the junction of post and bar from with his left foot. He should really have scored. Dylan Tate, first in the book after only 2 minutes. His heart swarmed around the Falkirk goal. 6 minutes gone, Danda corner, headed down by Halkett Vargas. Good touch, good control, and hooked his shot from 6 yards against the bar, frantically cleared by the Falkirk defence. 2 minutes later, Vargas again, he was up again, driving a shot to the left of Hogarth. Good save by the goalkeeper. He dives well to push the ball to safety. It took 30 minutes for Falkirk to settle at all. Good move on the right. Morrison fed Oliver in the box. He got a really good touch and got his shot away, but Craig Gordon was quickly off his line to block. It was a good save by the experienced keeper. 17 minutes gone. Another great chance for Hearts. Spittle slid the ball to Oda inside the full-back. He was 1-on-1 with Hogarth. He took too long. Keeper did really well to spread himself to block it. It's a great save from his point of view, but Oda really should have scored. McIver and Mackie are both booked as Hearts threatened to overrun Falkirk, but Falkirk having some problems back in defence, but they were a threat on the break. But around the midway, the tempo of the game just dropped. Falkirk began to look a bit more comfortable in possession. Although Hearts had lots of the ball, they didn't really have a chance until about 40 minutes when Spittle saw his left foot volley from about 6 yards, brilliantly saved by Nicky Hogarth. But that didn't stop the chances at the other end. Falkirk denied. A couple of minutes later, brilliant save by Craig Gordon. Ross McIver did brilliantly. He burst past Halkett and Kingsley. He had time to steady himself, which he did. He struck his low shot well towards the low right hand corner. Craig Gordon somehow got a finger to the ball to tip it inches wide. There's been 6 bookings, 4 for Falkirk, 2 for Hearts. It's been feisty, but you can't take your eyes off it. More of the same, with a few goals thrown in, would do very well for us all here at the Falkirk Stadium in the second half. Half time, Falkirk 0, Hearts 0.
Lean stuff in front of goal. Let's try David Friel.
Yeah, Gordon, lean stuff here as well. Spartans 0, Ross County 0 at half time. The League 1 side, League 2 side are more than holding their own. They've done well. Ross County have edged it in terms of possession, in terms of chances, but Spartans have had their openings. Cammy Russell playing the left wing, he's been absolutely outstanding. He's got a great left foot on him. He was unlucky with a volley. Ross Laidlaw tipped it over, he then put a free kick inches wide. Kieran Watson also volleyed wide from a set piece. So Spartans have had their chances, but Ross County, you can see the quality on the ball when they do get on it and get flowing. Jordan White sliced one White from 20 yards. He'd one offside as well. He was offside. He found some close range, but the flag went up and that was the right decision. Ronan Hale's also been bright. A couple of shots saved by Jack Serity. Noah Chilvers playing as number 10. He's also been pretty good. He had a really powerful shot saved just at the death before half time. So plenty to go in this game. I think Ross County will probably feel that their superior fitness, their full-time fitness will show later on in the game, but Spartans can certainly be proud of their first half performance, and I'm sure they'll get that go in the second half too. Half time, Spartans 0, Ross County 0.
And finally, Dave Galloway, Aberdeen Queen's Park.
Yeah, it's 0-0 here at half-time as well, Gordon, between Aberdeen and Queen's Park. The hosts with a strong start as they took a firm grip of the game. Nice build-up play gave Nicky Devlin a chance, but his effort from a tight angle was blocked by Callum Ferry. And Jack McKenzie's shot was cleared away from goal by Cammy Kerr. Aberdeen knocking the ball about well, but Queen's Park really should have taken a shock lead. Jack Milne's mistake was intercepted by Dom Thomas. He squared for Zach Rudden, but Milne did very well to get back, and Block Rudden's shot a glaring miss though. Gavin Malloy headed straight at the keeper from a set piece as the Dons continued to dominate. The Spiders though created one or two openings themselves, and Jack Turner tested Dimitar Mitov with a 16-yard drive. However, the home side came close when Jack Milne crossed for Pappy Gay. His header was brilliantly turned behind for a corner by Callum Ferry, and the keeper had his palm stung by Mackenzie's powerful shot. The Dons well in control, and surely goals will come after the interval, but at half time it's Aberdeen 0, Queen's Park 0.
And we'll do a full roundup of those half-time scores next.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard. The Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. Book a test drive for the Volvo EX30 today. Head online for details.
And she's off. The corner shop is in sight. The National Lottery sign is there, and she's heading right for it. Look at Rebecca. She's making a real difference just by playing the National Lottery. Her numbers help fund Team GB and Paralympics GB athletes, powering their journey to Paris, one ticket at a time. Oh, just look at her go! Unbelievable stuff! Changing lives like it's a walk to the shops.
The National Lottery, changing lives every day. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant that automates tasks to keep your business running smoothly.
Copilot, help me pay my suppliers this week.
So, if you're a barber like Alfie, it could mean spending more time on what really matters, like more back and sides for his customers.
Oh, perfect. Cheers, Alfie.
Small businesses could save 4 days a month on financial admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. Book a test drive for the Volvo EX30 today. Head online for details.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel in the studio. It is half-time in the League Cup games and some lower league matches as well. Let's go back to the Falkirk Stadium. What are the chances of a shock looking like heading into the second half, Fraser?
Well, I think it's more likely that Hearts would be the team to win the game over that 45 minutes, but Falkirk have looked pretty dangerous on the break on a couple of occasions, and were only denied really by a brilliant save. I have to say it was vintage Craig Gordon when McIver, he burst past Halkett Kings as if they weren't there, 1-1, and his finish was good. It was low towards the right hand corner. Brilliant save by Craig Gordon. But I have to say, over the piece, Hearts have been a better team. When they've moved the ball quickly, they've caused real problems for Falkirk, but it's still 0-0 and Falkirk aren't out of this at all. It's been brilliant to watch, really enjoyed the game.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get advice on keeping infections and viruses away when school returns.
Okay, the second halves are getting underway around the League Cup. We were hoping for drama or shocks or a bit of both. It remains to be seen if we get any of that. Not had too many goals. One team that have got the proverbial 1 foot in the next round, Hugh, would be Dundee. They're 2-0 up. Every other game is in the balance. So you hear Fraser saying, Hearts do look the more likely.
The word I would apply is intrigue. I'm intrigued by what's going on at Pittodrie. Not to say that Queen's Park, led by a man in Callum Davidson who has managed a St Johnstone team to a League Cup final win, not to say that they should have no chance whatsoever, but I did expect Jimmy Thielen, who has made the best start of any Aberdeen manager, including Alec Ferguson, I did expect him to do well today, but that's in the balance. Likewise, the Falkirk Hearts game, the Dazzler may yet be the only one to have tipped the shock, because for all that Hearts have enjoyed domination, Fraser says Falkirk are dangerous on the break, and that's what you need in cup football.
Just a quick aside, Mark, it's just nothing wrong with it. It's just the shock. It's been decades since I saw an adult using Tipex. What is that you're doing?
Yeah, see that? I just found a bottle of Tipex behind me. Now, why is that in the studio? I just thought I'd test it out. I've not used that for years.
Oh, you're only testing it out.
Aye, I was scrubbing at one of my previous answers.
Tipexed over one of his answers in the first half.
Just so that you can see how Tipex works.
Well, I've not used it for years, but whose Tipex is that?
Cassie's apparently from
Right, so what
show.
level of work do they do that they need Tipex to tip?
Well, you've just done the same.
But we make loads of mistakes and we just scribble at it. What?
That's a good question.
What standard do they want to that Cassie needs to Tipex?
We need to get to the bottom of it. Shoot, the nation will hold its breath until Monday morning when we find out.
Can you smell it though? Just now?
It was just I just saw Gordon Dalziel looking at you more confused than normal, and I saw you wiping away.
Weird, Tipex. I'm going to wait for that to dry and then write the correct answer.
I think
keep us updated, will
you?
Keep us updated. Let us know how it goes. Sean Murphy's been sent off for Bonnie Rigrose. You know that half-time team talk? We just go out, keep it tight, don't do anything daft. You're on a booking. 3 minutes later, off you go up the road. Sean Murphy of Bonnie Rigrose sent off early in the second half. Jamie McGrath's had a cross that drifts just past the far post. He started the season really well.
Yeah.
Good player, him.
Yeah, it's a good player.
I noticed the old refusal to celebrate against his old team in St Mirren last week.
Do you know something?
I don't like it.
I would sub somebody if I was a manager for that.
That'd been a bit extreme.
Does my head
I
in.
scored against Dundee United for Celtic at Tannadice, and I jumped over the advertising boards into the ground.
Pathetic as well.
I got booked for it, but of course I was celebrating.
What type of goal did you score for Celtic against Dundee United?
An absolute belter.
I feel like the only goals I can remember you scoring, like Papach, yes, everybody knows that. There's that free kick you scored in the derby that bounced 3 times before it went in. Describe the Dundee United Celtic goal.
I was playing right back, came into the kind of right channel inside the box. It was cut back to me.
Inverted.
Yeah, cut back to me. Took a swipe, didn't quite connect. Took a deflection and went in.
Why does that? Why does that not surprise anyone?
Have you ever scored any clean goals? Hold on.
The goalkeepers are expected.
This is good.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
The Spartans won, Ross County 0, and it's Blair Henderson, scorer of many, many goals down the leagues over the years, and he's got what could be a famous one in the Scottish League Cup. It's a header, it is a brilliant effort, it finds the top corner, and the Spartans of League 2 lead Ross County of the Premiership by a goal to 0.
Well, there's your shock. If that scoreline becomes a result, team from the 4th tier of Scottish football beat team from the top tier of Scottish football. Unacceptable.
I'd find it very hard to disagree with that, as much as you've got to give Spartans all the credit in the world. I think Mark and I both tipped Spartans for the league, didn't we?
We did. Yeah.
So
I mean, irrelevant today, really, when you think about it.
No, but that's what we thought of them. We thought they were going to have a good season. Okay. They're a good side. They're going to be difficult beat down there. I wasn't expecting Ross County. Look, there's still a lot of football still to be
good
played.
Good goal though. Dishington's cross, he sort of heads it beyond Laidlaw, and the home fans certainly enjoyed that. Game of the day might be coming in the Championship. It's Ayr United 2, Hamilton Accies 2. Marco Roos, who's had rave reviews early on in his Ayr United career, he's equalised, and we've got a 4-goal thriller already. Let's pave the way for some more drama on this. Clyde One Super Scoreboard is brought to you by NordVPN. Let's be honest, we all want to enjoy a more private and secure internet, especially Gordon Dalziel, while having access to more content from around the world. With just one click, NordVPN can switch your virtual location to a country showing your favourite team whose game isn't being televised at home, so you don't have to miss out. Not only can you virtually teleport your devices around the world, but you can also block malicious websites and stop web trackers, giving you great peace of mind. One NordVPN account now covers 10 devices, so to get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/Super Scoreboard. This link will give you 4 extra months on their 2-year plan. We've added the link to the podcast description as well. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Terms and conditions apply, and check streaming service terms before use. Honestly, you'll be in safe hands. Think of it like Neuer, Alisson, Donnarumma, Buffon. Safe hands indeed. Now, right, let's get back to the podcast.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played alongside Craig Beattie and Mark Burchill. I have been managed by Jimmy Calderwood and Roberto Carlos. I moved between 2 Scottish clubs and appeared at an Olympics for my country. Who am I? Oh my. I played alongside Craig Beattie and Mark Burchill. Managed by Jimmy Calderwood and Roberto Carlos. I moved between 2 Scottish clubs and appeared at an Olympics for my country. Who am I?
Topical as well, off the back of the Olympics. Great question. Get your thinking caps on. If you can come up with a guess, send it over to @ClydeSSB. We'll see who gets it right. We'll see who does it the quickest. Let's get going. Even by... do you know what? I can't keep up because last season there was this big investigation. We found out that you have been cheating. Do you still cheat?
Occasionally.
You're just hoping...
Occasionally
You're just hoping that we've forgotten.
Oh, we're talking about the teaser. I've got to say, what was the sport of the Olympics?
You joking?
What was it? Was it vole pole? Was
you
it
joking?
Was it vole pole?
High jump. Was it the 100 meters?
Just for clarity, did you just say the vole pole?
I did, yes. Pole vault, yes. I said the vole pole.
You're about to be saved
Thank
by
you.
this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
I love the Volpol, I have to say. Falkirk 1, Hearts 0. The shocks are on the cards.
You got to know the game.
Yeah.
Ethan Ross has scored. 53 minutes gone. Falkirk 1, Hearts 0. We could be onto something here. That's the Spartans and Falkirk both leading Premiership opposition.
I take your point about the depth of the Hearts squad. However, if you make 8 changes game to game and then go out of the cup to a side from a lower division, the Hearts fans are going to say, what you left Lawrence Shankland out of a cup tie, like the Rangers fans about Cherny starting against Dynamo Kiev. Why did you leave out the most dangerous player?
I think he'll be on soon. But anyway, you're not wrong, but let's also not take away from Falkirk.
No, of course not. That's not possible.
Well, they've been absolutely terrific in the league. Cup's not been their bag recently. When you look at the Challenge Cup with New Saints, and then you look at them going out against Bonaire Groves, but they've certainly got it right today. And a big result on the cards. John McGlynn has got them playing some fantastic stuff. And when you come up against somebody at the next level, you wonder if you can sustain that. Certainly have today. They've got their noses in front. And what a day for the Ross family.
That's right.
Brother Seb, yes, going for Peterhead as well.
Terrific, absolutely terrific, and it's going to be an interesting next 40 probably plus minutes. You wonder if Shankland will be on the pitch in the next 10-15. John McGlynn he's very good at his job. One thing about him, he plays entertaining football. He gets his team well organised. They're always a threat. And that's terrific start to second half.
What a start to the second half for us generally in the Cup. We were bemoaning lack of action, lack of potential shocks. Well, Falkirk are leading Hearts and the Spartans are leading Ross County.
It's not exactly a psychological boost for Hearts to take into the European tie, which comes up on Thursday night. So they had better get Shankland on quickly.
And our League Cup, I don't think it's like any other League Cup in any other countries. These teams have got to take it seriously, and especially Stephen Naismith, because Hearts fans love finishing third and they'll love challenging for that second place, and they'll love the European stuff. But some of them want real success, some of them want silverware.
Sure.
And it's only presented twice a year, and this one, of course, is the easiest cup to win because it's the fewest rounds and you get there pretty easily into the latter stages. So big job in his hands, Stephen Naismith, in this second half to turn that around.
Aberdeen made a change at the break to try and find that breakthrough in their game, and actually it's one on, one off in terms of guys that thought their Aberdeen careers were over probably, but have had a resurgence. Vicente Bizawan on for Pap Guy, who both of them, like I say, he thought they were gone, and they both playing a part recently. Bizawan scoring for the first time in 2 years last week in that game. And there you are, Boyce and Danda off, Forrest and Shankland on for Hearts.
The panic button has been
pressed
firmly, and rightly so. There's no point waiting. You're 1-0 down, you need a change, you need something to happen, and you've got the man that can certainly pull you out a hole in Shankland, so you've got to get the chances to him. But look, don't be surprised, Falkirk are decent. They're decent at the back as well. They're organised.
Hearts fans are booing the decision to take off Jan Danda.
Yeah, I would be the same.
You love Jan Danda.
Big fan.
Wonder if there's some if that's going to be one of those things that becomes a bone of contention, because he didn't start that Dundee game like we said. And I wonder if that was the surprising one, because he had played quite well against Rangers, hadn't he?
I thought he did.
So I wonder if there's just, you get these players who fans and manager never seem to quite agree on. I wonder if Jan Danda's going to be one of those, one to watch as the season progresses.
Well, they're clearly in a tetchy mood, the Hearts fans. At the end of the day, we've got 1 point from 6 in the league. You follow that up by going out of the cup to a team from the Championship. You go back up there with to Edinburgh, not happy.
And if you don't get results, I know Fraser touched on it and he was right to say about the pre-season form as well. They start going back to that. They were terrible. But as I say, John McGlynn is a very experienced guy. He'll know that Hearts will come at them, so they've got to be very careful.
Spartans have the ball in the net again through Blair Henderson, but it's offside. Aberdeen right back Nicky Devlin somehow finds himself through 1-on-1, but Ferry comes off his line, just kind of narrows the angle, and the shot goes past the far post. So still no breakthrough there. Can you imagine? Queen's Park made it a hat-trick of lower league teams to take the lead against Premiership opposition. Still goalless in that one, but Falkirk do lead, in case you're just joining us, against Hearts. And even more incredibly, the Spartans lead Ross County.
It's like Mark Wilson said, the League Cup is arguably the easiest of the 3 major trophies to win. So you've got Aberdeen, who don't win trophies anymore. They used to when Fergie was there, but they don't win
Derek
trophies.
McInnes won this trophy, of course. That was the one he did win.
On penalties.
Does that not count?
It was a terrible game. Awful.
All right, okay. I'll tell him.
But Aberdeen, Hearts, they shortchanged their supporters because of the lack of silverware that they get, because they have big fan bases and that they have better budgets than everyone outside of Celtic and Rangers. So this isn't, the optics aren't great here.
I'd always cut them some slack. Take Aberdeen as an example. They kept getting to semi-finals and finals, and they kept facing Brendan Rodgers Celtic, and that's more often than not only going to end one way. But I think obviously that does fall down if you miss an opportunity to go past a Falkirk or past teams like that. You're not going to get the same forgiveness. There's another change there. An exciting signing again on paper for Aberdeen, though, spending some of that Miovski money. Keskinen, Finnish winger. I don't know if you've seen his sort of highlights. His tattoo. I was going to say, you seen it?
Oh, he's not got a tattoo.
Tattoo of Wayne Rooney fishing. Is that what it is?
Are you sure it's fishing?
Right?
Are you sure it's fishing? Have you looked at it closely?
We'll call it fishing.
Maybe. Was that Saturday night?
Change your letter.
Something like that anyway. But, so you have seen it?
No, I haven't.
Alright. It's
a weird
bizarre.
tattoo of Wayne Rooney.
Imagine
it is fishing.
Oh, well.
Why would you get a photograph of another footballer?
He's a big fan, obviously.
Is Billy Gilmour still at Brighton?
He's on the bench.
Right. 2 up now.
Because he's on the bench because a 38-year-old James Milner started.
Everton 0 Brighton 2. Yeah, maybe we'll see Billy Gilmour if we haven't already. You like that tattoo, Dazzler?
Oh, that's wonderful.
I mean, we are speaking to a man that tattooed himself with his own nickname. Gaw.
Yeah.
And then tried to scrape it off.
One of the great nicknames.
Was it you who slaughtered me the other day about that? It was, wasn't it? I was wondering. Do you know, so I was sitting last night thinking somebody slaughtered me about
because
that.
Because every so often I'll just glance over to your arm and just see that little black mark. It's still there
to remind me of my past.
That's it. Always there, eh? Gaw.
But imagine, honestly, a grown adult man getting a tattoo of a footballer. I can't understand that. Fishing.
Who knows? Very strange. Anyway, not as strange as the potential series of results we've got here, because Falkirk lead Hearts, as we say, the Spartans lead Ross County. We are set potentially for a truly memorable day in the League Cup. It's going to be quite something. What a finish we're going to have. Remind us of your teaser, please, Hugh.
Yes, I have played alongside Craig Beattie and Mark Burchill. I have been managed by Jimmy Calderwood and Roberto Carlos. I moved between 2 Scottish clubs and appeared at an Olympics for my country. Who am I?
Okay, Craig Meikle would like to throw in Marvin Andrews.
No.
David would like to throw in Alan Gow.
Gowser. Haven't seen him for a long time. No.
Stuart McCallum wants to throw Morten Wieghorst's name into the mix.
Well, lovely man, but it's not him either.
That's a hard one.
This is a good teaser. Yeah, it is good. Hold on, I'll tell you which game there is absolutely no doubt about.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And this is going from expected to impressive for Dundee. The hour mark has just been passed, and Scott Tiffany has made it Dundee 3, Airdrieonians 0. Another man who started the season well, came off the bench in the Dundee derby, rewarded last week, opened the scoring against Hearts, and now he's scored the third against Airdrie.
They scored plenty of goals. Pre-season they were scoring freely. They got 2 in the Dundee derby, 3 against Hearts, that's 5, and now they're up to 8 with the 3-0 lead over Airdrie. So impressive and entertaining.
No drama for Roger Hanna there, Gordon. That is a simple job being done by Dundee.
It's called in the trade a good professional job.
Oh, is it right? Okay.
Yeah, that's what they call it in the trade nowadays.
Clearing that up.
Listen, these can always be tricky ties. Cup football is a tricky game. Of course it is. You look at the results just now: Falkirk, Hearts, the Spartans, Ross County. Hearts and Ross County need to dig deep to keep out their cell in the cup. So Dundee against an Airdrie team, and listen, under Rhys McCabe they've been terrific, especially last year. Roger was talking about this style of football they continually play. Fine, that's not a problem, but well done to Dundee. They're just kicking on from where they left last week against Hearts, at home, dominating the game and scoring 3 goals.
It's a tough couple of weeks for Rhys McCabe, and he won't let it change his style, but it's just the difference in levels. You go up against a Dundee side who have made good signings, and there's Scott Tiffany, who in the Championship he kind of ripped up the Championship. That's why he gets his move, and they can, I know he's playing today, but they can put him as part of their squad as a squad player. So it's a difference in levels.
It's also, because we obsess with it from the outset, they're not necessarily losing because of the style of play either. People jump to that conclusion that
the quality you're coming against better.
That's it.
Tell you, it's going to be a tough end. They're down to 10 men as well, Airdrie. So I'm not sure anyone was predicting a comeback, but certainly can forget it now. Dylan McDonald straight red for denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. Dogzo, as they call it in the business. There you are, there's a technical term in the trade.
What's it called?
The refereeing trade. Dogzo. Denying obvious goal scoring opportunity.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah. I like the old Dogzo.
You use that term differently.
So it was on Simon Murray. Dylan McDonald sent off. So Airdrie 3-0 down to 10 men.
Do you remember Pomo?
Excuse me. What's Pomo?
It's what was it? Position of maximum opportunity. Pomo.
Never heard of that.
Replaced by FOMO potentially for the kids.
You're missing out.
It's the game of the day there. Yeah, you had said it would be the game of the day. There it is.
Yeah, Ayr United 3, Hamilton Accies 2.
Oakley, good signing for them.
Yes, it's a good signing. George Oakley with the goal there. So Ayr United did lead. Hamilton then took the lead and Ayr back in front. A really good game there down in Gordon Dalziel's old stomping ground. Ayr United 3, Hamilton Accies 2. Oh, my man's having a tough we might need to go our separate ways already. Gerald Taylor's booked. He's found it tough. It's more of a Dundee performance than a Rangers performance, apparently.
Oh dear. What did we witness then at Tynecastle that day? Just a flash in the pan, I think.
He peaked too early.
Yeah,
he peaked too early.
It's a good time to peak though. Live on Sky in the first game of the season. Good time to peak.
Imagine somebody come in, signed him, then he gave the 2 performances.
His agents will have that highlights reel circulating by January.
The next club he goes to, that'll be the YouTube one, won't it? I watched him on YouTube. Oh, he was brilliant against Ray. He's got a longer throw in Wisher.
Someone who might be well placed to know these things told me that they did fear the Rangers performance was the outlier rather than the others. So we'll need to wait and see.
Recipe for disaster.
I would never give my sources away, so we'll leave it there. But Edinburgh City 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Innes Lawson with the goal there. A few changes for
Hugh Keevins a fake.
Well, we just give him the goal flash. We don't usually do it for League One. For the second week in a row. The guy that barely scored a goal in his career, but for the second week in a row, Scott Allen spends his Friday night with Hugh Keevins in here and goes on to open the scoring for Kelty the next day. He's going to be 5 to 5. He will be on the phone begging for another shift this week.
A brilliant routine.
I am his Svengali.
It's just, what can I say? Your influence knows no bounds. Cove Rangers 1, Dumbarton 0. Incidentally, in fact, we had a Dumbarton fan on Beat the Pundit last night, and he was going, and he thought Dumbarton were going to get the victory. How did last night's Beat the Pundit go?
Who played?
Scott Allen won
on a tiebreaker.
Yeah, the tiebreaker something to do with caps.
Yeah,
what was it?
The combined number of caps that Scotland's 3 Euros goalkeepers have.
I would have went 16.
Oh, you were close, Dazzler.
18.
Oh,
so you would have won comfortably.
Where did the boy go?
One of them was 12 away, one of them was 8 away, something like that, I think. Anyway.
Scott Allen was 8 away, and
I think we're really getting to the granular detail that no one needs. Inverness 1, Montrose 1. Adam McKinnon with the goal. And we told you about that Cove goal because the Beat the Pundit contestant was going up there, and Scott Allen's goal for Kelty as well. Are both just free falling now?
No, they're in trouble.
Gone from almost winning the championship and promotion, next season relegated. And what was the run like? It was like 10 defeats at the end of last season or something crazy. Straight down
in
again.
A period where they've got goalkeepers coming on and scoring goals for them last season. It was a bit of a farce.
There's no Jeezy Peeps man now, are there?
I've not heard Jeezy Peeps in a while.
I wonder what he's doing.
You see, Scott Allen now has to be in here on a Friday, otherwise you'll break the spell.
I'm starting to agree. I mean, I'm not really the superstitious type as such, but
if he's not here on a Friday night, the spell is broken and there
I
are
agree
no
with
goals
you.
the following day.
That's a partnership here.
Yeah.
You can't have, if you're thinking the lucky charm Friday night,
correct.
I must be hanging around with you. I've made no secret in the past that my brother-in-law plays football now, plays for East Kilbride. He's just scored. He spent his Friday night with you. You were invited to one of our family parties last night.
Yeah, fantastic.
Can you believe that?
I wouldn't take him anywhere near my family.
Do you know what? Right, I'm going to tell you on my life. I need to tell you this, right? Do you know, because he come in, right, and just at that time he was sitting over in the corner and my favourite dance come on, and it was the only one I'd have danced to.
The slush.
The slush.
That was just when I arrived.
Right, and I thought to myself,
if I wasn't there, would you have done it?
I would have been up there with the ladies.
Because I thought that and this is because I'm obviously committed to my craft, so anytime we've got a family party, I'm here. So the worst of it, it's not only that he's there, it's that he's there before me. Right, so I arrive and he's already there,
holding court with a family,
with my gran or whatever it is.
That's dangerous.
So his mammy's mammy. I was sitting with his mammy's mammy.
I spent my Friday night with the Dazzler.
Strange. And what was it like? Good party?
Great. I'll tell you
good
what.
Feed.
He was getting tucked in the buffet.
What did you get? What was in the buffet?
See the buffet was outstanding, but I've got to tell you, the sweet selection before it.
He's a pick and mix man, this guy.
Before the buffet?
I've never seen anything like this before in my life. It was sensational.
He has a sweet tooth. I told you, eating chocolate when he wakes up in Germany was a weird one. He's a pick mix man.
He's a strange individual in many ways. But anyway, spend your Friday nights with the Super Scoreboard team and you will score the next day. That is the rule. That's what we're finding out today. So anyway, where are we? Ashley Young sent off for Everton, if you're interested in the English Premier League. Something I'll maybe elaborate more on when we get back to our league games, because it'll be more relevant. Have you seen what the English Premier League are doing now? They're tweeting VAR explanations in real time. Did you know this?
No, I didn't know that.
As the games go on, it's probably just a kind of nice bit of detail. I mean, you're not always going to, like you said, agree or whatever, and maybe some people won't like it, but I think it's just that, we always talk about maybe transparency or an explanation. I'm sure this is a resource thing as well. You need loads of extra people to then put that message out and compile it in a way that makes sense. But just as an example there, so they tweeted, 13 minutes ago, Everton Brighton, VAR overturn. The referee awarded a penalty to Everton for a foul by Dunk on Calvert-Lewin. The VAR recommended an on-field review as he deemed Calvert-Lewin's foot landed on Dunk's foot and there was no foul. The referee overturned the original decision and play restarted with a drop ball.
There you are. Quite
Just get
right.
an explanation.
Quite right too. Come on, you
Quite
seagulls.
good.
I quite like that.
Would you
yeah,
like
I would
that?
like that here. I certainly would, but
Except it doesn't matter what you tweet. No one will believe it up here.
No, but it's not about believing it. It's just an explanation.
Yeah,
and
the
you
detail
can take
in
it
there.
for what it is.
Yeah, it's
Because don't get me wrong, there is the other side of it. So Fabian Schär's sending off for Newcastle. If you look at that back, it's one of those where players go head to head. I can't really see a headbutt, and I'm looking at the replies to Twitter, and they're not really in agreement. So the explanation goes there, and everybody says, "What are you on about?"
have they left the comments on
No,
the,
you can't do that, surely.
because surely they're getting hammered.
No, well, but as Twitter users will know, you can't reply, but then you can still quote tweet it,
okay.
can't you? So it must have been a quote tweet that I saw. Anyway, let's not get bogged down in the details of Twitter. Are both nil Kelty too? Scott Allen set them on their way. Absolutely flying now. Kelty up there at Arbroath. That's Scott Allen's former team as well, of course, isn't it?
Certainly is, yeah.
Oh, aye, he played there.
When the live stream's on, the other Twitter comments down the side of it.
Ah, Hugh.
You'll regret asking that.
Hugh.
No, they did come on, and I had to put my hand over the little fella's eyes.
That's the best entertainment I've ever had in my life.
Well, you say best.
No, some of them, and it's the same guys. I was sitting in Dubai, right, and I went onto this, and I was watching them auto. It's hilarious. Some of them out there have got good banter.
But some,
I've got to say,
some crucially also don't.
Oh,
as
yeah,
well. It's worth bearing in mind.
but the majority of them, I'm telling you, is brilliant.
I had never seen the live stream until Tuesday night, and there you are. And then I thought, what's that say there? And I had to run for the wee fella's eyes. And
I love it.
Yeah, not ideal at all. Anyway, we're going to go to Ibrox very soon and get the team news. Gabriel's
you wish.
there.
Aye, nobody's there at
Right,
Ibrox.
see, just keep me all on your toes, just making sure you're listening.
Have you got the teaser?
Yeah, let's do a reminder of the teaser, please, Hugh, if we can.
I played alongside Craig Beattie and Mark Burchill. I have been managed by Jimmy Calderwood and Roberto Carlos. I moved between two Scottish clubs and appeared at an Olympics for my country. Who am I?
It's the Volpolter from the Olympics.
I think I've got that.
David thinks it's Mark Wilson's man, Nadir Chifchi.
No.
What about Billy Mehmet?
No.
Derek would like to throw in, Derek's picked this guy because he played at the Olympics, but I don't know when he was married, but managed by Jimmy Calderwood. Craig Bellamy?
No.
Where are we? Some of you do have it right, incidentally.
Oh, I think I've got a wee guess.
Yeah, someone's texted you. Let's see your paper.
Is him to text me?
Just show me the paper. Come on.
I'm just got to guess it now.
What would fascinate me is how he spells it.
Yeah.
What
one am I looking at here?
Oh, sorry.
He's got a lot of
that there.
No.
Oh, he's wrong for once.
No,
and you know the
Todorov.
fact he brought up. Have you got the teaser? So that prompted
Livingston,
us asking
Hearts, Dunfermline, Jimmy Calderwood.
Nah, wrong time frame there. I think.
Was it?
I think that's a rogue shout from you.
And who did he play in the Olympics?
Volpola. He's a Volpola.
What about this Kelty Hearts? They absolutely exploded. 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0 up. English Premier League resumes today, or this weekend. Arsenal 2, Wolves 0. Bukayo Saka with the goal for the Gunners.
Are you going to give us a guess here because your eyes were closed?
I know, but I'm thinking. I think I know the club, but
which club? Well, it was two Scottish clubs. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh right, okay. One of them.
It crucially says in the clue.
So it does.
I moved between two Scottish clubs.
One of them, Dunfermline.
No.
Oh, it's Aberdeen then, isn't it?
No.
What? Oh, there's a clue. Who else?
Who Jimmy Calderwood's remaining
clubs? Dunfermline, Aberdeen.
Hold that thought.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
This is now very impressive. It's one thing getting through, but Dundee 4, Airdrie 0. Juan Portales, of course. Airdrie are down to 10 men, which makes the task a touch easier in theory for Dundee, but they are doing their job and then some. Dundee 4, Airdrie 0.
Well, you know, with a new pitch there at Dens, you know, it's a formidable job to go there and play Tony Docherty's side now. I look forward to some matches there when Rangers and Celtic go there.
Yeah, it rounds off a good month for Tony. especially the way the derby was going, and they turned it round. And then last week, followed by good cup win.
Interesting team news from the National Stadium. Gabriel, let's do it.
Yes, Gordon, good afternoon from Hampden. You said it's interesting team news. It certainly is. 5 changes for Rangers. In come Dowell, Sterling, Cherney, Danilo and Matondo. An entirely new front three. 5 changes at the top end of the pitch. Jefte moves to left back as well. Ridvan Yilmaz is out for 4 to 6 weeks with an injury he picked up midweek. Well, let's just read you through the team then. Jack Butland in goal. A defence of James Tavernier, John Souttar, Robin Proper, nearly called him Davey again there. Robin Proper at centre half, with Jefte moving back to left back. Mohamed Diomande and Kieran Dowell in midfield alongside Dujon Sterling. Václav Černý will play right wing. Rabbi Matondo on the left wing. And Danilo, who we've not seen yet this season, and we saw that video that it looked like he might be hobbling from Tuesday night. He is fit to start. The substitutes: Kelly, Barron, Dessers, Davis, King, McCausland, Fraser, McKinnon and Rice. Still no place for Yanis Hadji or Todd Cantwell as they look for exits from the club.
Really interesting team, that Gordon Dalziel. Limp gate was just bizarre, to be fair, during the week, as Philippe Clement quite quickly pointed out. Don't get carried away, that's just the way Danilo walks. People then started resurfacing old videos of him, and indeed he does seem to walk quite casually or with a limp. He must have been fit enough, because he starts today, Danilo, and he will get the first competitive minutes he has had this season.
That's the one that surprises me, and the reason being that he's been on the bench and hasn't played a minute, and then all of a sudden in a cup tie he's thrown in from the start. But well done to Clement. He did come out and explain the limp, because I think everybody was in the same opinion, Gordon, when we seen the video, thinking he does not look fit at all. Obviously Clement is right, he was fit, because he's in from the start today. He certainly rang the changes. He's looking for a performance. Yilmaz a missed down that left hand side as well.
4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6. It's
injured.
Yeah, but other players, it's an opportunity for other players to come in and stake a claim. Big game for Rangers today. He's put out a team that he thinks is good enough for St Johnstone, but they will have to be at the top of their game.
Danilo, of course, Mark, in the early days when it looked like his Rangers career was full of promise, he scored that goal against St Johnstone, picked up the facial injury in the process. That set off a sort of bad run of injuries and falling out the team. So back to try and score again against St Johnstone today.
Well, I think he's needed, and we've chatted enough about Celtic's front line and the need for 2 or 3 strikers. Rangers is no different. Daz is right. He does mention about Dessers starting game after game and playing 90 after 90, and you need some to alleviate some pressure. And Danilo on that stage looked like he was coming on to something. Didn't start particularly well, but then got into a rhythm, and of course injury robs him a long part of the season. So he'll need to get up to speed. It's different. Anybody will tell you training to match fitness is much different, and this isn't a team like, greatest respect, Spartans or Queen's Park Rangers are playing. This is a St Johnstone team coming off the back of good results.
He must have confidence in the squad, because for me just now he's left out probably Rangers' best player just now over the last few games. Barron's been terrific. The fans have taken to him, everything about him. He's went in there, he's really hit the ground running. So he must be confident in the players that have come in, McDowell and people like that. Diomande, I watched him the pre-season game against Union Berlin. He was absolutely fantastic.
Did you just add Mick to Dowell's name there? You get mixed up with the golfer.
What did I say?
You're thinking
Kieran Dowell.
McDonald's
you
later.
call him Mick Dowell.
Oh, sorry.
You've just made him Scottish.
Well, he's one of our own.
Mick Danilo's up front as well.
Right, okay, Mark, you make one mistake and you get slated. You're looking at Diomande in there. I thought he's been off it a little bit. I think Barron's been the best player at Rangers so far. So he's obviously got confidence in his players. He wants minutes into their legs as well. It's a cup tie. It's at Hampden. They still are favourites. They've got pace in the wide areas. Danilo will be looking for that, cheering out in one side. Matondo, for me, he's an impact player, but it's a big afternoon for him.
It's hard, Hugh. There's not loads of informed players for Philippe Clement to choose from, and it can work both ways. I think, just generally speaking, most Rangers fans will say, oh, that's good that Danilo's playing. And on the other hand, if it doesn't go to plan today and you've picked Kieran Dowell instead of Connor Barron, that's a stick that will get whacked over Philippe Clement by the Rangers fans. But he has to try and use this squad. That's why I'll be very interested when you open the lines at 5 o'clock to get the fans who are either on their way to Hampden or are boycotting Hampden, to get their take on Connor Barron being left out. Hold that thought, Hugh.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Falkirk 2, Hearts 0, and Dylan Tate surely sees Hearts out of the League Cup already, and Falkirk through. The Hearts fans were already booing before that goal went in, and now they are flooding to the exits. Not a happy bunch. It was Miller's cross, it found its way to the back post. Remember, Dylan Tate got booked after 2 minutes, and we said it was going to be a long day. Well, he's loving the end to the afternoon. Falkirk 2, Hearts 0. Cup shock approaching.
Bow to the Dazzler.
Thank you, mate.
Who said that that would be the cup shock of the day. I think it's reflective of a terrific job that John McGlynn is doing at Falkirk. I also think it is reflective of Stephen Naismith getting himself into a bit of a fankle early on in the season. I said it before a ball had been kicked today. I don't think that you change 8 players without running a high risk. It smacks to me of uncertainty. I do appreciate the much of a muchness in terms of quality. However, I simply think the 8 changes from one match to the next is just too many, and it's come back and it's bitten him in a sensitive area today, and the fans will not be happy with Stephen Naismith.
I mean, or they are not in good form, because they obviously hadn't made the changes last week, and they were 3-0 down to Dundee. So whatever way you slice it, it's not a good start to the season.
It's a terrible start to the season, and I know they've signed new contracts. Look, he will take a bit of criticism for this, absolutely no doubt. I totally agree with you. I think sometimes you can overthink it as a manager / coach. 8 changes is a lot. Going to a place that you look at and you think, Falkirk, decent team, play good football, good manager, tactically aware. 8 changes for me, and you can argue about the quality they've got in the bench. There's no consistency playing week in, week out.
I'll accept
it's early on.
I accept we'll never know exactly the real reason, and it doesn't have to be one reason. But does last week not suggest, see, if Hearts had won last week, played well, then you make 8 changes and you lose, it's easier to blame the changes. Neither version of Hearts is functioning currently.
But you're going to wait to a championship side. They get beat with a good Dundee team.
Yeah, but they got hammered though. And
they finished the game not bad, to be fair to them, right? But I just think that sometimes you can overthink things. You've got to work in consistency. If you take 8 players out in an early stage of the season, see if this was about 10 games in, 11 games in, rotating squads, I get all that. We're early in the season. You want to get minutes in your legs. You want to get the sharpness. You want to get that consistency, playing with people that you know how they work, because there are new players in there. So you've got to get to know their style of football as well.
Clearly the fans,
it's not worked for them.
The Hearts fans are starting to question Stephen Naismith's judgment, because they're booing the decision to take off Jan Danda, and now they're leaving the ground in their droves because they're out of the first cup competition of the season. And that's why I go back to my point about when you open the lines at 5 o'clock, Connor Barron becomes an immediate talking point for the Rangers fans, as Cherny did in the game against Dynamo Kiev, because Clement has developed the habit of making a call that doesn't work out for him. And the Rangers fans are very interested to get their take on the team in general when they come on.
And by the way, it's not like it's a hard luck story for Hearts, because Craig Gordon was keeping them in it before the goal. It was a brilliant save just before, but Falkirk came right back and did find that second goal. So we're definitely heading for a shock there. Don't forget, we're still heading for a shock, a bigger shock in terms of the levels between the teams, because the Spartans of League 2 are beating Ross County of the Scottish Premiership currently as well. No danger for Dundee, who are easing past Airdrie, although Airdrie did pull a goal back. I forgot to tell you, in amongst some of the other madness. And Aberdeen 0, Queen's Park 0. Hugh.
Yeah, for me, as I said, that's where the intrigue lies. You know, Hearts, well done, John McGlynn, but it's still a shock. Dundee, well done, they got the job done professionally. But Aberdeen, in the week that you sell Bojan Miovski and inherit millions of pounds, the Aberdeen fans are already thinking ahead and say, is there a Miovski factor here? Are we going to, yes, get lots of money, but he is going to be leaving a hole that's too big to fill?
In a very loose sense, they have 70% of the ball. It's a cutting edge that they're lacking, and therefore you could, in a way, blame a Miovski factor. But then I suppose they won very convincingly against the good St Mirren side without him starting the game last week. So.
Yeah, I don't think you can just put that at Miovski.
Oh wow, what a game.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
5-1 Dundee. It's substitute Curtis Main in at the near post. We did say Airdrie were down to 10 men, so in some ways it was a surprise that they even pulled one back, and it's just woken Dundee up a bit because now Curtis Main's got in on the action, and with about 5 minutes to go of the 90, it's Dundee 5, Airdrie 1.
Well, it's a brilliant result that to have, you know, early on the season, new signings in. Airdrie could present a difficult challenge with an up and coming manager, but you just go and blitz them. Plenty of goals, playing well. Great result.
Just in case we get proper late drama, I don't really know, maybe it would come in the form of a Queen's Park winner. An Aberdeen winner, of course, would be a bit more predictable, but let's do this first, Hugh.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played alongside Craig Beattie and Mark Burchill. I have been managed by Jimmy Calderwood and Roberto Carlos. I moved between two Scottish clubs and appeared at an Olympics for my country. I am Mehdi Taoul.
Mehdi Taoul, did you get that?
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
No?
He was a good player,
very
though.
Good. Kilmarnock and Hearts. Kilmarnock and Hearts.
Kilmarnock.
Yeah.
Jimmy Calderwood.
Well, I'll tell you, lots of people did get it, and well done if you did. 21 Maxwell was in third place. Graham McLaughlin was second place, and Michael Donati was the winner. Mehdi Taoul.
You'll need to tell, who did Roberto Carlos manage again?
Was it a Turkish team or something like that when they crossed paths? Sivaspor.
Yeah. Can I think
Jimmy, I can't believe we never got Jimmy Calderwood Kilmarnock.
I said Kilmarnock to you.
No, you did not.
After Dunfermline, but never getting Taoul.
The Volpolter, He's a tiny wee guy, Mehdi Taoul. Can't imagine Volpolting over the bar.
Volpolting, I would have probably got that.
Tell you what, having watched the Olympics this year and some of the pitfalls in the pole vault, it's an occupational hazard.
It certainly is.
You'd be hopeless at that.
01419511025
if you want to phone in about 10 minutes time.
He's been for the high jump a few times.
We'll build up to kick off at Hampden. Not Ibrox, made that mistake already. 5 to go though. The Spartans knocking out Ross County.
I know we're concentrated in the Hearts one, but Falkirk, Spartans, think where they are and where Ross County is, and they're trying to rejuvenate their club, and Don Cow's trying to get them going in the right direction. Knocked out the League Cup.
It's embarrassing. He will be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed. It is embarrassing. We talk about things that reflect on the state of our game. This is a club from our flagship competition, from the Scottish Premiership, and that is an embarrassing result. And his next game is against Rangers, and I know they're no great shakes right now, but if you can't beat the old Spartans, what chance have you got in Glasgow against Rangers?
I was trying to think of League 2 sides or bottom tier sides beating top tier sides, and unfortunately it was just one that scarred me personally. Remember Albion Rovers beat Motherwell?
Yeah,
because they were third. I think they were third bottom of the SPFL in its entirety, and Motherwell were third top at the time. So it's a similar sort of gap, if you like. That was a Scottish Cup 4th round tie, of course, not a League Cup, but the shock factor's still there. But yeah, tweet me your other examples, because I'm sure you'll know better than me. League 2 beating Premiership.
Hearts got beaten in the Cup, didn't they?
One
up north, Brora.
So that's even worse, obviously. That's out with.
I remember Clyde beating Celtic in the Scottish Cup when Roy Keane made his debut.
But Clyde were it is still a big shock. But Clyde were near the top of the first division at that time.
They had loads of players that had played at a good level.
It's not
were you there? You were there, weren't you?
No, I signed the week after. Couldn't have timed it any better. Walking in there thinking, I'll save us, lads. We'll win it next year. And we did.
6 minutes to go at the Falkirk Stadium. I don't think is it going to make a difference? Our Hearts going to find Our Hearts going to find anything?
No. Well, they've got guys on the pitch that can get you a goal. But 2 and 6,
let's do the St Johnstone team as well. Gabriel already told you. Danilo's in, Kieran Dowell's in, Jeffrey plays left back, Rabbi Matondo's in. There are a number of changes for Philippe Clement's side. What about St Johnstone?
Well, just one change for St Johnstone, Gordon. It's Graham Carey comes in for Aaron Essel in midfield. Looks like they'll still be using that 3 at the back formation that Craig Levein likes. Josh Ray will be in goal. The defensive Lewis Nielsen, Jack Sanders and Kyle Cameron. Dre Wright and Andre Raymond look to be the wing backs with Cameron McPherson and Matt Smith playing just behind Graham Carey. And up top, it's the duo of Benjamin Kimpioka and Adama Sidibe. He scored 2 last weekend. He's been the subject of a lot of speculation this week, linking him to move to Aberdeen. But he starts and is their danger man up top. Substitutes: Sinclair, May, Clark, Smith, Sprangler, McPake, Kirk, Olafunwa and Franchsack.
We will build up to that game in more detail, of course, when these finish. But that front two of St Johnstone looked brilliant last week, so
it did.
Be a bit of a challenge there. Well, we've got another goal, but a full-time whistle as well. So just let Roger Hanna tell us about it.
Yes, indeed. Dundee 6, Airdrie 1. Tony Docherty's side cruise into the quarter-finals of the Premier Sports Cup. They've now won 6 and drawn 1 of 7 games this season. They have scored no fewer than 29 goals in the 7 games. This team is growing quicker than the relayed pitch at Dens Park. They led from 12 minutes. Seb Palmer-Holden knocking the ball over the line after the Airdrie defence made an awful hash of clearing Lyle Cameron's corner. There was another set piece in 40 minutes that led to the second goal, a header from centre half Jordan McGee. 3 changes at the break by Airdrie player manager Rhys McCabe, including taking himself off, but it didn't really make any difference. Scott Tiffany ran through to slam home the third after 61 minutes. There was then a red card for Airdrie defender Dylan McDonald 2 minutes later for taking down Simon Murray as he burst clear in goal. Dundee's 4th goal, it came from defender Antonio Patala's heading home Cameron's corner after 74 minutes. There was then a spectacular consolation from the Airdrie captain Adam Fazell in 76 minutes, but Dundee simply stepped up the pace again. It was 5-1 when substitute Curtis Main scored from close range in 86, and then Cameron, an outstanding performance for the Scotland under-21 midfielder. He got his goal that his play thoroughly deserved in the only minute of stoppage time from close range to put the cherry on the icing, on the cake for Dundee. A one-sided win. You wouldn't fancy them in the last 8, Gordon. Dundee 6, Airdrie 1.
Oh, and we do have late drama at Pittodrie. Remember, Aberdeen and Queen's Park were locked at 0-0. We've got a late goal.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's the sub, it's the man with the Wayne Rooney tattoo. It's Keskinen, a great turning shot right in the nick of time, just when Aberdeen needed him, and it looks like they have staved off a shock there. That's a timely introduction to Aberdeen, Hugh.
Yeah, well, they do say he's a player, and he's popped up and become an instant hero in the eyes of the Red Army, but a sickening blow for Callum Davidson. However, cup football, it's not how you get there, it's whether you get there.
If you've got a Wayne Rooney tattoo, you better back it up with something else, because you're getting stick for that. And he's right into the club and making a name for himself.
4 minutes added on for the Spartans to hold on and see off Premiership Ross County. It's getting tense, as you would imagine. Falkirk maybe slightly tense, but they're 2-0 up, should be okay. They have gone down to 10 men, and it's the sub, Ryan Shanley. High foot and ball bouncing, looks a bit harsh according to Fraser Wishart. He always sticks up for the players, so we'll reserve judgment till we see it ourselves. But anyway, red card for Falkirk, and I do think they're probably still going to see that one through when you look at the clock, unless Hearts can come up with something absolutely miraculous.
Need to bring back John Robertson. because nothing can save them. Shankland couldn't save them.
Yeah, he was booked for descent as well. He's not having a good day.
No, it's a real blow for Stephen Naismith. This is not acceptable. They brought in plenty of players. He's been well backed, but the start to the season, the draw with Rangers apart, has been shabby.
All credit goes to Falkirk.
Sure.
Full time at the Falkirk Stadium. Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, they finished Falkirk 2, Hearts 0. The cheers around me from the Falkirk supporters, and the jeers are from the few fans that are left at the Hearts end who are not happy with their team's performance. But is this a shock? Well, certainly after 20 minutes, Hearts were totally on top. They missed a number of chances, but Falkirk showed great resilience to survive and fight back into the game and deserved the win in the end. An excellent second half performance. There were plenty of chances. An exciting first half. Hearts had 4 really good ones in the first 70 minutes. Vargas hit the bar from 6 yards. Nicky Hogarth, the Falkirk goal, brilliantly saved from Vargas and Spittle before Oda had the best chance 1-on-1 with the keeper. Hogarth again spread himself. A brilliant save by the young goalkeeper, although Oda should have scored. Falkirk weren't out of it as he grew into the game. Craig Gordon was off his line quickly to block a Gary Oliver shot. Then the keeper saved brilliantly from Ross McKeever just before the break to keep the scores level. It was 6 bookings, a bad tempered first half. Difficult to keep up the standard and tempo of the first half, but Falkirk started the second half well. Oliver shot from inside the box just over before they took the lead in 53 minutes. Very impressive young right back Keelan Adams made really good ground on the right hand side, and his low cross, he picked out Ethan Ross with his low cross, and it was expertly tucked away by the winger at the near post. Hearts reacted by bringing on Forrest and Shankland for Boyce and Danda. Hearts fans unhappy at the Danda substitution, but Hearts didn't see the instant reaction looking for. In fact, Falkirk still dangerous. Craig Gordon took the ball off the head of McKeever with striker ready to score. Then Adams' touch let himself down when he was free inside the box. First time we saw Lawrence Shankland in any dangerous positions came in 75 minutes. Looked a back post header, a cross goal. It beat the goalkeeper but onto the top of the net. But Hearts had to rely on another brilliant Gordon save to keep the scores at 1-0. Again denied by McKeever. Diane McKeever low to his right. There's a brilliant save by Gordon. The Hearts fans not happy, and it was no surprise when in 81 minutes it was 2-0. Calvin Miller made really good ground on the left hand side. He got to the byline. He was outstanding all day, the winger. His low cross went through a forest of legs and found its way to Dylan Tate at the back post, and he calmly tucked the ball low past Gordon into the back of the net. There's still time for a bit more action in stoppage time. Ryan Shanley, the Falkirk substitute, was shown the red card. The ball bounced between him and Cammy Devlin. Devlin went for the ball with his head. We've seen it all before. Shanley's foot was high. He caught Devlin. The referee was going for his yellow card, but then for some reason went for his red. I thought it was a bit harsh, but I'm sure that won't spoil the party for Falkirk dance tonight, because the feel-good factor continues. They're in the quarter-final draw, but Hearts fans not a happy lot, and made that clear to the manager, players and the board at the end of the game. Full time at the Falkirk Stadium. Falkirk 2, Hearts 0.
Well, Hearts fans, you know the drill. You could call us, let us know how angry that result made you. Falkirk fans would love to revel in your joy as well. So a cup shock already in the bank. Falkirk have beaten Hearts, but David Friel might be able to top it.
I think I can top it, Gordon. Full time, the Spartans won, Ross County 0. You mentioned fairy tale right at the top of the programme, and that's exactly what it is. League 2 Spartans, the lowest ranked team left in the competition, are in the quarter final of the Premier Sports Cup after beating Premiership opposition. Blair Henderson's goal, a wonderful header 20 seconds into the second half, was enough to see them past the Staggies. And you know what, there'll be so much made about Ross County, their professionalism, their performance, but you need to give so much credit to Spartans here. It was a 10 out of 10 performance. Dougie Samuels said he's been here for 13 years, he can't have had many better days. They're just in front of me right now in a huddle. Every single one of those players gave everything. Henderson was a standout, but they defended so well. Jacques Herity in goals when he had to be called upon did his absolute utmost, and in the end it wasn't really backs to wall stuff. You know, they saw the game out really, really well. They always carried a threat, and that man Henderson's such a prolific scorer. Got that all-important goal 20 seconds into the second half. Ross County simply ran out of ideas. Ross Laidlaw almost got up for a corner late on. He was told to stay back. He probably should have, because the ones in front of him couldn't find a way past the Spartans' defence. As I said, they were still a Lowland League side only a year ago. This was their second season in the SPFL. They're now in with the big boys. They're now in the last 8 of a national competition. Unbelievable stuff here. Full time, the Spartans won, Ross County 0.
The Premiership big boys are falling for a while. It looked like Aberdeen might have a nervy end to this one, but they're over the line. Dave Galloway.
Yeah, it's finished. Aberdeen 1, Queen's Park 0. Gordon, the host, dominant in the first half, but just couldn't make it count. Nice build-up play gave Nicky Devlin a chance, but his effort from a tight angle was blocked by Callum Ferry, and Jack McKenzie's shot was cleared away from goal by Cammy Kerr. But Queen's Park really should have taken a shock lead when Jack Milne's mistake was intercepted by Dom Thomas, who squared for Zach Rudden. However, Milne did very well to get back and block Rudden's shot. Gavin Molloy headed straight at the keeper from a set piece as the Dons continued on top, and Jack Milne crossed for Pappy Gay. His header was turned behind brilliantly by Callum Ferry, and the pressure continued into the second half. Esther Sockler netted after McGrath's through ball, but it was ruled out for offside. Both fullbacks then had chances. Jack McKenzie's shot hit the side net, and Nicky Devlin burst through after a neat 1-2, but Callum Ferry was off his line very smartly to narrow the angle, and the effort went past the far post. Queen's Park forced Dimitar Mitov into action. He saved easily though from Zach Rudden and Roddy McKenzie. Apart from that, it was almost one-way traffic. Aberdeen with nearly 70% possession. But just when extra time looked more than likely, the Dons finally got the breakthrough they deserved in the 92nd minute. Sivert Nielsen cleverly found Topi Keskinen, and the winger, making his debut, scored with a great turn and shot. Credit the Spiders' brilliant spirit, but it's finished. Aberdeen 1, Queen's Park 0.
Well, there we are. Aberdeen are through then, and what a day it has been in the League Cup. We've spoken to Roger Hannah. Dundee easing past Airdrie. The two shocks though coming: Falkirk knocking out Hearts, the Spartans knocking out Ross County, and as you just heard, Aberdeen doing their job in the end against Queen's Park. We're by no means done, because we'll turn our attentions to Rangers. They will host St Johnstone at Hampden. What did you make of the team news, Rangers fans? Is that the team you would have picked? How pleasing is it to see Danilo back? Are you in any way bothered by the leaving out of Connor Barron, who's been pretty good since he came in? Is there anything else that jumps out from that team? Let us know right now. If you'd rather react to those 3 o'clock games, then I am looking at you, Hearts fans. How bad is that? What word are we talking here? Embarrassing? I don't know. How would you label it going out to Championship opposition? Give us all your thoughts, please. Celtic fans, you might want to turn your attentions to tomorrow. What are you expecting against Hibs? And if you want to go down the happy celebratory route, come on you Falkirk fans, how good was that today? Give us a call. We'll go back to Hampden and we'll speak to you next.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
What a day. What a day. All you can ask for in cup football, if you're a neutral, is let's get some shocks, get some drama, and that has happened. Hearts are out. They would have been, you would imagine, third favourites for the competition. They are out, having lost at Falkirk. Ross County, by no means the same expectation, but still Premiership opposition, who toppled out at the hands of League 2, the Spartans. An incredible day in the cup. Even Aberdeen didn't have it their own way, but did score late on to beat Queen's Park. Credit to Dundee, showing how it should be done. A 6-1 win against Airdrie. Now the small matter of Rangers against St Johnstone at Hampden, of course, in a week which Rangers went out of the Champions League. There's been a lot of negativity about performances and signings and availability, and it all gets linked into the stadium. So we'll see how that one goes when we build up to it. We can look ahead to tomorrow, when of course Celtic host Hibs. Motherwell and Kilmarnock do battle at Fir Park. St Mirren back involved against Dundee United after their European exploits. But whatever it is, whether it's today's shocks, whether it is tomorrow's football, give us a call right now if you can. 0141 951 1025. And like I said, Rangers fans, you might even want to build up with us. So what did you make of that team? Are you pleased to see Danilo? Are you surprised to not see Connor Barron? What else jumps out at you? Kieran Dowell, we don't see him start many games. Rabbi Matondo maybe similarly. How do you feel about today? What does the Hampden factor look like today? Maybe you would otherwise go to this game, but you've decided not to because it's at Hampden. Just if you fall into that bracket, I'd just be keen to find out about the mindset there and what goes into that decision. So 0141 951 1025, that is the number that you need, and we will build up. Let's actually just go back to Hampden right now. We'll recap the teams. We're still about 40 minutes from kick-off, so maybe no wisdom in asking you for a crowd update yet, Gabriel.
No, not just yet, Gordon. Fans starting to come into their seats just at the moment. I will give you an update. There was rumours of a protest outside the front gate. Spoke to Philippe Clement a bit about it yesterday, but I was out there about half an hour ago. Nothing appearing to happen yet. I'll let you know if anything changes with that. I'll give you a crowd update as well just before kick-off, but let's go over the teams again. As you say, 5 changes from Philippe Clement. Rid van Yilmaz, he'll be out for 4 to 6 weeks, so misses out. Somewhat surprisingly, Conor Barron drops to the bench along with Cyril Dessers, whilst Tom Lawrence and Ross McCausland are out altogether. In come Dujon Sterling and Kieran Dow to midfield, and it's an entirely new front three of Václav Černý, Rabbi Matondo and Danilo. So it's Jack Butland in goal, Tavernier, Suter, Proper and Jefte at the back, Diomande, Sterling and Dowell in midfield, Černý, Matondo and Danilo up top. What about the visitors? Well, they've only made one change. Graham Carey coming in for Aaron Essel in midfield. It'll be a 3-5-2 formation. Josh Ray in goal. Defensive Lewis Nielsen, Jack Sanders and Kyle Cameron. Dre Wright and Andre Raymond the wing-backs, with Cameron McPherson, Matt Smith and Graham Carey in the middle. Benjamin Kimpioka and Adama Sidibe up top.
Lots to look forward to. As we said, we'll check in and see what the sort of crowd update looks like. I'm interested in your football opinions, of course. We don't want to become obsessed with just that. What do you make of that Rangers team that's been picked today? An element of rotation taking place. A very small point, I think, Gordon, in the grand scheme of things, but teams do quite often, and I wondered if Rangers would maybe play Liam Kelly in goal. They've decided against it.
Yeah, sometimes I said it's like the Hearts. Sometimes you can overthink it. I know he's made 5 changes. I think that's plenty.
No, I just meant as a sort of blanket, for the Cup. Hearts did it today. Even Dundee did it today. Yeah. So you're not telling me Rangers somehow can't if teams like Dundee can.
Maybe it's just the way the manager thinks. He just decides that his number one goalkeeper will play in important games. Liam Kelly, I don't think would have had any problems if he'd been in goals today. As you quite rightly say, Gordon, a lot of managers decide to go with what you call number 2. I don't see Brendan Rodgers leaving Schmeichel out tomorrow against Hibs, so I think he'd be in the same boat. But I just think that Clement's looked at it and thought, no, I want to try and keep the back four. He's already lost Yilmaz, so he wants to keep that as tight as he possibly can, and he's obviously went with the experience of Butland.
Like I said, it was a small point anyway, not a huge one. Jack Butland, I think, played last season, and Rangers won this competition. George in Battlefield, we were about to speak to you. You seem to have disappeared and struggling to get you back on that line, so do give us a call. Don't want you to miss out. 0141951 1025. What about the rest of you Rangers fans? What do you make of that team? My guess is, and this is where I'm hoping will put me right, there are bits of it that will please you, like Danilo. There might be other bits that won't. So let us know your thoughts and what you're expecting today as a sort of case study. I'm keen to find if there is anyone out there that's willing to come on and say, I would have gone if it was at Ibrox, I'm not going because it's at Hampden, and maybe tell us why. I think George is here. How are you, George?
Hi, all good. Can you hear me alright?
I can hear you loud and clear. What's on your mind tonight then?
Just a lot of what's been going on with the Rangers. It's actually disgusting what's going on. I can't believe it's happening, to be honest. Just the professionalism of it's just wrong in so many ways. And I think, to be honest, they're taking that Philippe Clement for a ride. The board, I think they've just gave him promises and they're kind of shutting him up now. Just do what you need to do. And I think he's oblivious to what's going on as well. He obviously he's just signed a new contract extension as well. I mean, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it's so poor. And as a lot of people are saying, this is a high level Scottish team, and it's chaotic. Not to mention, see all the fans down at Hampden now. That road's a nightmare at the best of times, let alone all the Rangers games getting played there now. It's ridiculous. Just want to see what the board make of it.
I really don't think you can blame Rangers for traffic congestion. They've got enough that you can blame them for.
I don't think he's saying it's their fault, but it's just we can scoff at it and we can laugh, but if people are finding any reason, big or small, as to why they prefer to go watch football matches at Ibrox versus Hampden,
there's no doubt
it just comes back into this inconvenience of the games being there.
There's no doubt that Rangers' problems are all of their own making, and it began with the closure of Ibrox and the move to Hampden. It has continued with the failure to progress further in the Champions League at a tremendous cost financially to the club. So George is quite right to describe it as shambolic. Any word you like. Shambolic, chaotic, idiotic, they all apply. That's why Danilo, for example, tonight is coming into a team and a club where confidence is rock bottom, and these are his first minutes of this season in a Rangers jersey, and he is somehow supposed to start the revival. Likewise, Rabbi Matondo and Czerny. For me, I like Czerny a lot, as you know, and I like Matondo. I think Matondo's capable of good things but is inconsistent. Tonight, George cannot be disillusioned further, and other Rangers fans cannot be disillusioned further. Rangers have got to win this match. I'm afraid the state they're in at the moment, it doesn't matter whether it's comprehensively or narrowly. They simply have to win the match and progress to the next stage.
You said the word inconsistent there, and that's what Rangers are this season. I know the problems we hammed in the ground, but I'm tending to concentrate on what's on the pitch. And since the opening day of the season at Hearts, you look through the team and there's an inconsistency there to now in terms of everything, in terms of selection and how they actually play. You look at the back line that started, and you look at Ben Davies in there for the first game of the season. I get Proper was still to get up to speed or get things over the line, but that's changed. Injury, you can't help that to Yilmaz, but doesn't help the team. So Jeffrey's in there. But you look further forward, you've got Sterling probably playing a midfield role today, and Dowell, who's been a bit part kind of off the bench player, and you drop your best players. Then you look in the wide areas. Scott Wright starts the season. Is Scott Wright injured today? Because he's injured. So injury again.
Balogun and Yilmaz, the sort of recent ones.
So you're having to go to Matondo, who wasn't a starter for you. Cortez is out as well. You know,
I mean, there are injuries there that are forcing a lot of them.
Of course, but that's what I'm saying. Inconsistencies all over the place. Injuries don't help it, and you know the players that are selected today really need the result and performance.
George, what do you make of the team today then? Do you like anything about it? Do you like the fact Danilo's in? Connor Barron's comes out. You know, what jumps out at you?
George, what do you make today?
Ooh, George's signal sounds a bit dodgy. We'll try and get that cleared up. But Gordon, sort of same question to you then.
The one thing that baffles me, I'm all for change because Rangers have a big squad and I think they've got quality players, so I'm not bothered about 5 changes. The one thing that I can't get my head round is the Danilo situation, and everybody was talking about is he injured or not. Rangers played in the most important game financially the other night there. Danilo had no minutes whatsoever. They needed goals. They needed a goal. They needed a striker on the pitch. The manager didn't put him on the pitch. Instead he put a centre half up into the centre forward situation, gave him no minutes again, and then today in a cup tie, which is important to Rangers, of course it is, because Rangers can't afford to get put out this cup tonight, he starts him with no minutes what's under his belt. That baffles me.
Yeah, although to be fair, I wonder if eventually Philippe Clement might say, hold on a minute, complain when he doesn't play, and now you're still complaining that he does.
No, I'm talking about if you're going to build someone up and he's fit,
give him half an hour first, 20 minutes
of course. And plus the fact, if you're chasing the game the other night there and you've got a striker that you paid a lot of money for, you decide to put a centre half up and leave him out, and then just all of a sudden miraculously he's bang in the next game.
Well, George, what do you make of the team? I think we've got you back. Danilo's playing today, Connor Barron isn't. It's rotated around a bit. There's injuries.
I've actually missed the team sheet, guys.
So Danilo, the sort of headlines are Danilo is up front and Cyril Dessers obviously isn't. Connor Barron has dropped out of the midfield and Kieran Dowell has come in, and then the others are sort of injury forced.
Danilo's playing up front. I suspect an injury incoming with that one. That'll be another striker we've lost. I've got no hope, to be honest. I'm just annoyed at everything. I'm driving past the Rangers fans and I'm thinking to myself, they should be boycotting this. I don't think we're getting taken serious by the board at all. They're just doing what they need to do, and we're all getting affected and the fans are still going in their droves, I would make a stand and just boycott it.
I think boycotts do not help any club in any shape or form. Things are bad. There have been decisions taken that have been self-inflicted wounds on Rangers' part. You also have Dessers not playing today. I wonder to what extent his remonstrating with the fans might have something to do with that. However, if the club is to go in an upward direction, boycotts are counterproductive.
Big day for Danilo, whatever way you look at it. He's not played for Rangers competitively since the 6th of December. I must admit, I had sort of lost track. I didn't realise it was quite as long as that.
Yeah, before he gets back, do you know something? I thought he was starting to grow into being a Rangers player. I thought he was starting to look comfortable, or something about him. I was looking forward to what he was going to offer, and I'm sure the Rangers fans were the exact same. But unfortunately, the lads had, been plagued with the injuries. But this is a big day for him. Obviously, by the fact that he's not had a lot of game time, he'll not be as sharp as the rest of them. But if you create chances, the one thing he'll be desperate to do is find the back of the net and just get his Rangers career up and running, get his season going again, put a little bit of pressure on Dessers, and just feel good about, actually playing the game.
They're just light in that area though, aren't they? When you look at it and you want to give Dessers a rest, either a rest or you drop him or whatever, because he gets stick even when he scores. Who are you bringing in? You've got one option, really, Danilo. That is light to carry you through a season. So I know, funds are hard to come by for Philippe Clement, but you would even think in the youth side or the maybe promoting one of the young strikers to help you out in that situation.
I've seen that point made, on Twitter already. If you're going to bring in Kieran Dowell, now is Kieran Dowell part of the plan really? Is he one that's accused of, not accused, that falls into that bracket of Philippe Clement yesterday saying, players know they can leave? Can Rangers start a Bailey Rice in a game like this?
No, I don't think so. Because
compared to Kieran Dowell though,
I'd agree with you, Gordon. What's the long-term thinking there?
I know there's a crisis narrative, Hugh, right? This is Rangers at Hampden. You're supposed to have the best young players in the country. You must be able to throw the odd guy in there, surrounded by more experienced players.
I will say this to you. He gives the impression now, Philippe Clement, that he doesn't know his own mind anymore. There are too many changes, too many players being left out that mystify the fans. I'm not saying that you have to pick a team to delight the fans. It helps, but he has to use his own judgment. But I get the impression now he's not too sure what's happening anymore.
George, I know you're angry with everything, upset with everything. It does take more than this for Rangers to not be big favourites for a game at Hampden against St Johnstone. You don't even think they'll get over the line today?
They'll get over the line, I know that. Just before we go into that, can I just mention another thing? What do you guys think of the signs that have been bought and paid for by Rangers to make Hampden more glamorous looking and make it more authentic like Ibrox? I think that's a waste of money as well. I mean, if anything, they should be reimbursing a lot of these fans that are going to this game until Ibrox is done. And then we'll see how quickly the board moves with it.
I'd be lying if I said I knew exactly how much the branding costs, but I do think in the grand scheme of things it's probably not huge. And you can almost imagine the alternative scenario where Rangers don't do any of that, and then that would get ridiculed as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's an attempt to try and make their adopted home feel like their real home. As I say, there are plenty of things that you can criticise the board, the manager and the players for, but trying to make the place look a bit more Rangersy, I don't think that's one that you can complain about.
Oh, George is not looking forward to anything by the sounds of it. What about the rest of you Rangers fans? Give us a call if you can. Now's the perfect time to do so. We will speak to you and go back to Hampden after these.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
We are building up to kick-off at Hampden for Rangers against St Johnstone in the League Cup. Would love to reflect on the games today though as well that have already taken place. Hearts fans, this is often a vehicle for your anger and frustration at full time, and I know you think that that's mostly dominated by the Glasgow teams, and that is the case, but today it could be your opportunity. You've gone out the cup to Falkirk of the Championship. Let us know how that feels. There was a great shock for Spartans beating Ross County as well. Celtic fans, you might want to preview tomorrow. Same bracket for Motherwell, St Mirren, Kilmarnock fans. So we're here for you until 6. 0141 951 1025. Nadeem is up next. Can you get yourself up for this game this evening, Nadeem?
Absolutely, Gordon. I think it's another game of football for Rangers. It's a cup, so you've got to have faith and confidence in your team. I mean, my points were not necessarily about the game today, but I think we'll win. I think we'll win well. St Johnstone, I don't think are any great shakes at the moment either. So I think we'll be okay. But as you said earlier on, a 1-0 or a 4-0, I take either as long as you progress through. My main points are around the board, right? I think over the last probably few years, anyway, maybe 3-4 years, I think there's been such a lack of quality investment. We've bought players, of course we have, but quality players that now we're seeing a situation where it's come home to roost. You know, we've got a team that, in my opinion, we're not going to win the league with that team. I think there's 3 players in that team that Clement signed, and I feel sorry for Clement in some ways because his hands are tied behind his back. Without some really good players coming in and some quality investment in that team, we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle, and we've seen it already in the Champions League qualifier. Although I will say, when Hugh likes to talk, and I understand Hugh likes to sensationalise things, that's his job. I get that, but I don't think the confidence Hugh is rock bottom. I totally disagree with that. I think we played well in patches against Dynamo, and we played okay in patches there. So I don't think the confidence is rock bottom, but I think the club as a whole is struggling just now, and I think the board have got to take responsibility for that.
It's possibly a fair point, Hugh, in the sense that the season's so early, so the actual performances haven't had time to establish themselves as one or the other. Hearts on the opening day wasn't great. You draw the game though, it's Tynecastle, and it can sort of happen. Away in, well, it wasn't in Kiev, but against Kiev was positive at points. And the other night there actually wasn't much in the game, but so that can be hard for people to separate from the overall feeling around Rangers because of transfers, because of Hampden and so on. They've not actually performed dreadfully across this season yet,
but the overall picture is not positive. Now Nadeem himself has just said he cannot see that team win the title. Now I would not accuse Nadeem of sensationalism, given that we've only played 2 league games, but it leads to the picture. The picture at Ibrox right now is of a general malaise. The fans are not turning up. The fans will be there in even more reduced numbers today. The loss of the game to Kiev and the subsequent loss of money is calamitous. I'm sorry, that's not sensationalism. It is a calamitous loss of money.
I think Nadeem's point is that's the outcome, rather than, this isn't a team right now because they've only played 4 games, drawn against Kiev, drawn against Hearts, and beat Motherwell. It's not a team yet that on the field is performing horrifically, and therefore the players' confidence is at rock bottom. The other night it was a game that could have gone either way. They get a man sent off. It's the outcome of that causes the uproar rather than the performance.
But the game doesn't wait for you to catch up. The game doesn't wait for you to get your squad better and the team to gel better. Europe, the main competition in Europe, is now lost to Rangers. The loss of their own stadium is Rangers' own fault. These things have added up to supporters feeling negative. Nadeem is positive to a point, but says at the same time they don't have a team that can win the league. So there is a general mood just now of pessimism where the Rangers fans are concerned. I think that is undeniable.
Sure, but in fairness to you, Nadeem, I think probably what you're trying to say is you can simultaneously think that you're not going to win the league, but not think everything's absolutely dreadful, horrible, in the bin, no hope.
Absolutely, Gordon. I think maybe you've put that more eloquent than what I did, I suppose. But yeah, I suppose I agree with you there. There is maybe a malaise of some sort at the club just now, and there's certainly more of a more kind of down in the dumps than there is reasons to be to be confident and maybe joyful. But I still believe we've got a decent squad. And like I said, the way things are just now, we're not playing great, but we're not playing horrendous either. But I think that combined with the fact that we've not got any top, in my opinion, top players apart from Chen. Chen looks a player, but we need more players like that in the club. That combined, for me at the moment in time, I can't see. I would love for us to win the league. I would love it. Been a Rangers fan all my life, 40 odd years. I would love for us to win the league, but I just can't see that just now, Gordon. And as a Rangers fan, that is depressing. And my overarching point again is, if any of the board are listening to the Rangers, you've got to get your finger. You've got to get investment in the club, not just players, but other sponsorships, stuff to get get money into the club so they can challenge again and be where we need to be, which is a top Scottish football challenging Celtic for the league.
It's a fair point, Nadeem. Enjoy the game if you can. Let's move on to Campbell and see his take on things. Campbell.
Alright, how you doing?
Good. Hugh?
Aye, good.
Good, man. Good. What are you thinking tonight then?
I just think everybody, especially Rangers fans, are being far too negative at a certain point in the season. I get what the disaster in no qualifying, but we saw what happened with that sending off. I don't think there's really much Clement can do about that, or the team. And then obviously that's a big loss, and then we have to try and get rid of players before we can bring more in. But come the end of the window, I think we see where we are then, and then we decide what the season's going to look like, instead of everybody just getting after nothing new.
I'm always happy for people to sort of wait and see, Campbell, but I wonder if did you not outline the concern there, because you said we need to move players out before we move players in. Is that not the bit that's causing people to lack confidence in the window? Because there's clearly not loads of money there. The window's been open a while. We've known a while that Hadji and Cantwell are not in the plan, can't seem to move them on yet, and you don't have the Champions League money to help.
I know, but as I say, there's nothing Clement can do about that. These players, we can only move them on if people want to buy them.
What Philippe Clement could do was put Rangers into the playoff round of the Champions League qualifiers, and
not on his own, he can't.
No, I know, but I mean, at some point the manager comes into the equation. So he was denied £4 million. The club were denied £4 million, and therefore that affects the outcome of the transfer window as we approach the closure of the transfer window. So Rangers are suffering the domino effect right now. They need players to move out of the club, but they won't go because Rangers pay them too much money for them to go. Rangers are out of the Champions League, therefore it affects the amount of money they can spend before the closure of the transfer window. The domino effect is Rangers' fault.
The only thing I'll say here is, in fairness to Clement, he can't control a terrible decision. He can't control that. I'm not saying that Rangers would have guaranteed themselves going through, but obviously they would have a better chance. I think it's just everything added together for the Rangers supporters. I don't think,
because he also on that, he can't control the wages that were paid to Yanis Hadji and Todd Cantwell that might cause them to dig in and not move anywhere.
And he can't control the fact that they're going to Hampden to play their home games. Now, the one thing he can control, in my opinion, is I still think he's got a decent squad with decent players, and I think he can control the style of football that I think most Rangers fans are a bit concerned about, because we've had calls here from the last 2 or 3 weeks talking about he doesn't have a game plan, a style of football that Rangers are going along and watching, where you look over the city and you look at the way Brendan Rodgers has started with Celtic, you look at other managers that have come in there. I think that the Rangers fans were looking for a little bit more. Now, yes, he's not got the desired players that he wants in the club. Of course he's not. Finances dictate that. There's another problem. But he's still got good quality players, and nobody will tell me he's not. He's got a good squad there. He's got a big squad. He's had 1 or 2 injuries, bit unlucky.
When you say a good squad, though,
he's got
in comparison to
I think he's got
to St Johnstone, yes, but to where Rangers fans want them to be.
No, of course they listen. Of course they want. You even see Celtic fans moaning at Celtic are cash rich and don't spend the money. They want more and better.
That's different.
Rangers fans will want more and better.
But that's what I'm saying.
But you still get good players there. You still get good
enough
players
of them,
there.
though. Like Celtic's is different. The Celtic fans are looking to fine tune and maybe add a bit more quality. The Rangers fans who phone this show could name you multiple players that they don't even want to see in the starting 11.
But my argument to this is quite simple. I think he's got good enough players there to develop a style of football.
Sure.
Right? And I don't think he's doing that. That's the argument to that.
I think the problem or what lies in between some of the calls and in between protests and absolute rock bottom confidence is, I think fans of any club at the start of the season are filled with optimism and they want to see some positives right away at the start of the season. Now, whether that is pre-season and your team's playing a good style and you're getting good results, or it's the opening games of the season, you're getting good results and playing good football, or it's new signings, they want to see positives and they want to see progression from where they left off last season. I think if you're a Rangers fan, well, people are saying their confidence isn't rock bottom. I don't think there's been many positives or there's been much progression from where Rangers left off in May, and that's the issue. The summer's been an awful long time and not much has moved on. Stood still or maybe even taken a step back, and the results will back that up to this point.
I was going to bring in Campbell again to see what he thought specifically about today. He's disappeared. He's welcome to try again. These are some brief thoughts from Philippe Clement on today.
That's done, that's finished, and it's our job. That's my responsibility, but for sure the players also, to react in the next game and to win that one. That's football. Yeah, that's the part of the story of Rangers, and that's a part in every club in the world.
There is no quick fix. Beating St Johnstone today does not turn around the mood overall, but clearly, as you've said, some sort of a real cohesive performance, maybe a start to finish. You rarely get that, to be fair. I know you don't get 90 minutes, but take the Motherwell game would be a good example, because it's at Hampden again, a similar level of opposition to St Johnstone today. The first half was good and it was fine.
Second half
followed up by a really poor second half, which is the bit that stayed in the minds. Folk moaned going into midweek and so on.
It's very easy to say, first and foremost, they've got to get through the tie, right? If they can get a good performance and score a few goals on top of that, I think the Rangers fans would feel a little bit better about themselves. I think the players, the manager and everybody would feel a little bit better, especially after the disappointment of the other night, of course. But the most important thing, it's unthinkable just now, and what you said, Rangers have played 4 games. It's unthinkable for Rangers to get put out of this cup tonight. So as much as, yes, we want a good performance, we want goals, we want entertainment, we want a style of football, the most important thing for the manager and the players tonight is get themselves in the next round.
Let's quickly hear from Stephen Naismith. Hearts have been knocked out of this cup by Falkirk, so a big result, a real backlash from the Hearts fans. These are the thoughts of the Hearts manager.
Disappointed, we're out the cup. It's frustrating, disappointed. It's a cup tie. You have 4 great chances in the first half, you don't take them. And we spoke about when we are being aggressive in possession, you've got to watch that counter, because that's a big hit for any team you come up against. And that's what leads to the first goal. And then the second goal, we kill ourselves again, which effectively takes the tie away from us. But really frustrated because of the way we started the game. We had good chances and you've got to take them. If you don't take them, you leave yourself vulnerable to a Falkirk doing. That's exactly what happened today. Fans are going to be disappointed, winning a cup tie and a cup tie that your favourites to go through in. So they're going to be. I didn't think as the game went on we then started making wrong decisions. Too many balls into the goalie's hands, giving up too many fouls, which then kills the momentum and ultimately that second goal probably clears it up that we can't rotate as much. We've given everybody a chance in the squad to make a mark on the team and say, right, I'm playing every week. The last 2 performances haven't given us that, so it probably clears that aspect up, that we need to make sure we just have an 11 out there that now gets through the games. There's a tight schedule that we're going into, and we'll just need to put on a team on the pitch that we think's going to win us a game.
Stephen, boo-hoo.
You would bring that out before
last Saturday you lost to a club in the league who were newly promoted from the Championship. This Saturday, this Saturday you have lost to a team who are newly promoted to the Championship. Not nearly good enough, and you lost 5 goals in the process.
We are fast approaching kick-off at Hampden. St Johnstone the visitors. So much stuff surrounding this fixture. It's not just about the football game, it's the venue and how many people turn up and how Rangers react and all the rest of it. We will go back to the National Stadium after these.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
We are minutes away from kick-off at Hampden for Rangers against St Johnstone in the next of these Scottish League Cup ties. It's been an eventful day, I'll tell you that. If you look at the shocks, Falkirk are through, Hearts are out, the Spartans are through, Ross County are out. What will happen at Hampden? Gabriel is there. Maybe recap the teams and set the scene for us, Gabriel.
Yeah, Gordon, just a few minutes away from kick-off here. The two teams in the tunnel about to head out. Fans in the stand, but not too many. There was rumours of a protest outside the front gates. That didn't materialise, but it is not a big turnout here. Looks a bit more bare than Tuesday night. Certainly less than half the capacity. Perhaps around 20,000 fans. Philippe Clement, we spoke to him yesterday. He said he wants to make this here, Hampden, the National Stadium, Rangers' second home. And some big results would certainly help that. Perhaps this could be one of them. Just as James Tavernier leads the Rangers team out to the pitch now. Not many happy faces around me, Gordon. We've had people on the phones this afternoon echoing that. You can understand why. It's far from the start to the season that they wanted. Just one win in 4 games. Philippe Clement's calling on his players, though, to find the spirit of Manchester United's 1999 treble-winning team in a bid to get their season back on track. United lost a big early game in that season. They went on to win it all. Rangers here, presented with a chance, a new competition. They're also here, of course, to defend their trophy. If you just take your mind back to 10 months ago, Clement made a great impact when he arrived, lifting silverware nearly straight away, but he couldn't convert it into any more success in that campaign. But he hoped to retain the cup and then go a few better this year. Let's go over those teams again. 5 changes for Rangers. Ridvan Yilmaz is out for up to 6 weeks. He's out. O'Connor Barron drops out of the team as well. He's on the bench along with Cyril Dessers, whilst Lawrence and McCausland drop out altogether. In come Dujon Sterling and Kieran Dow to midfield, and it's an entirely new front three of Václav Černý, Rabbi Matondo and Danilo. So the team is as follows: Jack Butland in goal, a defence of James Tavernier, John Suter, Robin Proper and Jefty. Mohamed Diamande and Dujon Sterling will play just further back with Kieran Dowell in front of them. Václav Černy's on the right, Rabbi Matondo's on the left, and Danilo leads the line. It's his first game of football in 8 months, Gordon. Substitutes: Kelly, Barron, Dessers, Davis, King, McCausland, Fraser, McKinnon and Rice. Yanis Hadji and Todd Cantwell, of course, not in the squad. Speculation surrounding their future. St Johnstone, though, hoping to build on that brilliant 3-0 win at Kilmarnock last weekend. No one saw that coming. They just make one change to their team. Graham Carey coming in for Aaron Essel. So it'll be Ray in goal, a defence of Nielsen, Sanders and Cameron. Wright is on one wing, Raymond's on the other, and it's McPherson, Carey and Smith in the middle. It's Benjamin Kimpioka and Adam Sidibe up top. We're just moments away from kick-off here. Rangers' defence of the League Cup starts now.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get your essential medicines and vaccines before you head off on holiday.
Truly atrocious scheduling for us when these games kick off at 5:45. George Bowie will kick us out here soon. Get the GBX, but we'll keep an eye on the early stages. I'm torn between not wanting to hammer the point, Gordon Dalziel. Rangers fans are probably fed up of it, but you also want to try and paint the picture. That's what radio's for. That's a very, very sparse crowd at Hampden, so something that Rangers will need to combat today.
Yeah, I think the players will just need to put it out their mind, Gordon. They've walked out there. It's not the biggest crowd we've ever seen. Yes, it wouldn't have been a full house at Ibrox, but I would bet my last dollar it would have been a lot bigger than what the crowd is at Hampden this afternoon. Well, tonight, this evening. But Rangers players have got to do a professional job. They know what's in front of them. They've got to get themselves into the next round of this cup.
Got to try and find sort of something to get you up for a game, Mark. The Rangers fans, they've still got a big chance to progress in the cup. They're still overwhelming favourites in the game. I'm sure they're excited, if that's the right word, to see how Danilo looks. They've not seen him play a single minute of competitive football since December. So these are the early signs that they'll be looking for, although they'll not be happy to see Diomande down. I think he's just taken a kick though in the leg. I don't think it's going to be anything major.
Yeah, I think with Danilo there's certainly a level of intrigue how he's going to perform or how he's going to come back for this long layoff. And of course with all the stuff that surrounded him during pre-season, why was he not playing? Can he come in? Can he show that he's the number one striker and Dessers has to take some time out of the team? That's what Rangers fans want to see. But look, it's a reminder where they won the cup back in, was it December? It's quite funny that they're here kicking off their defence here at home as well.
I mean, a spectacularly sharp looking hairdo with the cornrows for Danilo, and you said, Gordon, you actually like a bit of that.
I
you
love
can
it.
see you. There's a really strange incident. So
it was, wasn't it?
The ball got played back to Jack Butland. He's cleared it. He's collided with Sidibe, and I've not seen whose fault it is yet, but I think the Rangers keeper thought he was fouled.
I agree with the Rangers keeper. I think he was fouled.
I mean, that is a foul on Jack Butland, isn't it? I mean,
but the St Johnstone player's come off worse.
St Johnstone player has come off worse. That's what sort of clouded my judgment. But it allowed St Johnstone to then go on quite a promising attack in the box and win themselves a corner. So if this was to be costly, I don't know if Philippe Clement would be too happy, because of course VAR wouldn't rule it out, because the attacking phase of play starts when the corner is taken, not when it's awarded. So anyway,
the one thing that Rangers need is an early goal, I think, because the size of the crowd, paltry would be the word that would describe it. The size of the crowd mirrors the extent of the disillusionment, and I do realise there are other factors: cost, the time of night that the game is taking place, live television. However, for me, one of the reasons why the crowd is paltry is it mirrors disillusionment, and Rangers need tonight an early goal just to keep everyone up.
I mean, you're right, it still obviously helps, but this is the strange thing about Rangers at the moment trying to get going. We said this in the game against Motherwell at Hampden, and they got it, and then they made real heavy weather of it from that point on. So it just takes more than that. I take your point, you'd rather have it than not, but they need to be at it for longer.
Well, the sequence of games, the Motherwell game, poor performance, the Kiev game, poor consequences because of defeat. You can't continue that sequence. You really have to be positive, get an early goal, build on it. Every game is a fresh page, if you like, and St Johnstone look really up for it as well, so could be a good night.
Yeah, a couple of touches early on, Danilo just trying to link play up and lay it off. St Johnstone look like they'll go on the front foot, Gordon, in terms of pressing. So we know that Sidibe, Kimpioka, powerful running, quick, mobile, like we saw that at Rugby Park last week. They are racing towards Jack Butland anytime he gets the ball played back to him.
Yeah, they're going to, obviously, that's Craig Levine's tactic today, is get guys that will go and chase and work and make it very difficult for defenders and the goalkeeper, try and upset them. It's up to Rangers to try and play through that pass, but I agree with you. I think an early goal would really settle the nerves for Rangers, but St Johnstone they look fiery, they look up for it as well. I think Craig Levine will look around the National Stadium and think, do you know what, might just fancy our chances tonight. I
think it's important not to again get carried away and jump on everything, Mark, but just a couple of moments at the back where Rangers not looking quite as convincing as the fans would like. I said, nothing major, but just, maybe a slack pass here or an odd decision there.
Just scrappy. I think just the way they're moving the ball as well, proper. When he passes the ball, seems to bobble it into people an awful lot. Tavernier got done it early on with a simple 1-2 just after that. Butland fouled, then went and gave the ball away 3 times in a row. Yeah, just off it in the opening few minutes, but they're on the attack.
Yeah, better from Jeff Day and Matondo. It's a scuffed cross, but it might actually work out, and it's going to be a corner to Rangers. First time they've had the chance to put one in from there. Matthew McDermott, the referee, and James Tavernier will be the man going over to take the in-swinger.
The checking for something here, was that the close up in the referee? It wasn't a handball, was it?
Yeah.
It comes off maybe the face of the St Johnstone defender, maybe.
Well, yeah, there's nothing. They're going to go with a corner kick. There was nothing there to be concerned about if you were Craig Levine.
I think James Tavernier trying to get a coded message to his team.
The bounce,
doesn't it look like the two of them, Danilo and Proper, were looking though?
He's bouncing the ball, which obviously means something from the set
piece
routine.
Cross it in.
I'll tell you what, it's a really good delivery. If you're James Tavernier, you know you've done your bit and his teammates just couldn't quite get on the end of it.
A couple of wasn't on the same page here, because he's put that right at the back of the 6-yard box. That's a brilliant delivery. Brilliant. You can't ask for any better than that. It's a tap-in. If somebody reads that and gets round the back.
I mean, John Souttar was gesturing to say that he was pulled. It didn't on second inspection, Gordon, look like there was enough. There's always going to be a bit, but it didn't look like
No, you got to be strong. You can't. The boys are right. The quality of the ball for Tavernier was exceptional. But it's been a good start, good pace to the game. And I think we'll certainly get goals. And I totally agree with you. I think if Rangers could get that first goal, just settle everything down.
Because the reason I say that, Gordon, is that you've been there, you've seen it. The crowd get more and more restive, and if you get to half time and it's still goalless, then they're upset about that. They need some sign of positivity.
It was another slightly shaky moment at the back, but fair play to Robin Proper. He comes across under pressure. Oh, I'll take that back. That's not good from James Tavernier. Gifts it back to St Johnstone and allows them to come. But it's a good catch from Jack Butland. That's often what you need, isn't it, to take the pressure off. And he bowls it to Matondo, who, despite his faults, is a flying machine. So if he can just try and use the space and carry this up, and he's already in the penalty box. And that's going to go out for a goal kick, actually. It's
great recovery.
He's a bit unlucky, Matondo. I've got
brilliant
to say.
Defending, though.
Yeah, but he picks it up. He's direct. He goes at the defender. Yeah, he doesn't sell himself. Good defending. Yes, I totally agree with that. Good defending.
Nothing worse as a winger, Mark. You carry it 60 yards, you bust a gut to get there, the defender gets a toe and it comes back off you and then goes out for a goal kick.
You know what, if I'm Philip come on, or I'm a Rangers fan watching that, I'd much rather see that than see a winger turn back and take the easy
100%.
option, because now Nielsen knows this guy is lightning. He's going to take me on the outside at every opportunity.
Nielsen did pretty well.
Brilliant, very good defending.
Stayed completely with him, but he was clearly close enough to get his toe in. So encouraging signs in a way for Rangers. They're able to carry the ball up the pitch quickly. They've still looked a bit uncertain at the back. Tavernier is having a really 8 minutes in, and he's having a really tough game.
I've been there before. You start the game like that, you cannot complete a pass, but he's gave it away maybe 5 times in a row.
It's a strange one though, Gordon. It's not like these are all at close quarters. They're little passes, little 1-2s, little things that are just all very untidy from the Rangers captain so far.
It's very slack. You've got to say, I agree with, you've got to start the game right. And it's Diamandi down this left hand side. They seem to have a little bit of joy here. Diamandi into the box. He's playing for a penalty kick. He's never got to get that. But you're right, Tavernier has not, apart from the cross was fantastic, but outfield play, he's not really started sharp.
No, I mean there is space there though, Mark. You can see Rangers, you wonder how long St Johnstone can do that for. I mean, in the box, Diamandi goes down. Enough in it for a penalty?
Never.
No.
Mark?
No. Sorry, what were you saying there, Gordon? Were you asking?
Just there's clearly a space for Rangers to sort of move up the pitch quickly. They're not building anything, but I guess they don't really do that under Philippe Clement. It's about trying to counter into spaces or get the ball up the pitch quick.
Well, there is chances. That's because St Johnstone had so much territory up the other end that opens things up, and that might just be where they get the success this evening. But they need a spark quickly, like Hugh says.
Look, don't blame us. Blame the scheduling of these League Cup games. We'll have to say goodbye to you. We don't enjoy it, but we will be back on Monday night to go over all the talking points from a huge weekend. There's plenty of mileage left, but already it could be a cup weekend to remember. Hearts are out, well done to Falkirk. Ross County are out, well done to the Spartans. We'll see what happens Rangers St Johnstone. We'll see what happens in the 3 big games tomorrow, including Celtic as well. So whatever it is, we catch up Monday night 6 o'clock. We go over it all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. The GBX is up next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast with Lookers Audi. Book a test drive for the fully electric range today. Head online for details.
TikTok, official sponsors of Team GB, and here's Olympic heptathlete Katarina Johnson-Thompson for Great Britain.
I started athletics when my PE teacher said,
"Why don't you give high jump a go?"
And I've been obsessed with athletics ever since. Now, when I want to start something new, I start on TikTok. Like recently, I searched for Book Talk. It started with a gripping whodunit. Now I have a reading list that's 800 metres long. Search Team GB on TikTok and follow the journey to Paris. It starts on TikTok.